23-year-old Nicholas Cruz live in that hearing, pleading guilty to every murder committed in that 2018 Parkland shooting, the deadliest high school shooting in U.S. history. One name you may have heard out of the mouths of the judge there in that courtroom, Joaquin Oliver, his father Manuel Oliver, joining us as we just heard from Nicholas Cruz, admitting that he killed those 17 kids. Manuel, as you heard your son's name, you witnessed a confession pleading guilty to that murder of your son. Your reaction when you heard Joaquin's name?
Let's see. This is not easy for anyone, not even for you, not even for anyone that was watching that was affected emotionally with the whole story. I know this person is guilty. I always knew it. So this is just something that we're doing, the legal side of the whole story. But then he tried to send a message to the families. He did very confusing message that means nothing. I get messages every single day, by the way, from many nice people from all over the world, supporting us, supporting the families, and I take those as messages that help me to move on. That was not the case today. I saw my friends, parents of kids, sitting here, crying, holding hands. And I'm thinking that the whole story that I never heard before, by the way, the whole story of the shooting itself, it's bizarre. It is terrible. It's from someone that is really evil. The way that my son was shot, I never heard that. No one told me with details how my son was shot first and then was re-shot 2 more times. So maybe he was still alive. That means that he was suffering a lot, and I think it's painful. That made me feel terrible because I was carrying each of those comments. And I think that the lesson that we need to learn here is that in part of the story we heard how someone, and no one mentioned this, but I was also picturing this, someone was able to purchase an AR-15 and multiple magazines. Someone went into a store, a 19-year-old went into a store purchasing that. And that is normal. It's happening today while I'm talking to you. How many mothers and fathers are going through the same situation that I am going today, listening to the story that ended the life of their loved ones? And the law won't change? Is that what your other guest said before this hearing, that the law won't change? So that means that we're okay with this. It's working, the system is working this way. We believe in a system that allows people to arm themselves with AR-15s and multiple magazines. And you're telling me the idea that this is a mental health problem? I'm not even talking about Joaquin now. This is me as a father telling you what it needs to be done. Shame on us. Shame if we think that this is a normal way of having a society moving on into progress. We are killing each other. Mental health is a common issue from all the planet. And guess what? A crazy guy in Australia cannot purchase an AR-15 and multiple magazines. Not in Canada, where I am right now. So that's my big thought. Dad, what can I do? This is where we live, and this is normal. No, you're not. And no one should think that. No one in this program, in this segment, should think that this is normal. This is not okay. And unless we change this, and unless we have some regulations, the only winner is going to be the gun
Hello,
industry.
Debbie. And hello, everybody. Sorry it's taken me so long to get back going live today. As you guys have probably heard me say before on the stream and on the show, I suffer with a chronic illness. And one of the many symptoms I face when I'm in a flare-up is lethargy. Diagnosed clinical lethargy, and I just collapsed on the bed. Boy, I had the window open. It's a nice, quiet, peaceful, breezy day. And, just been sleeping like a cherub, just hand on my nuts, guys, I won't lie. But you know me, I'm not gonna lie to the teacher as to why I'm late, gang. I'm late because I took a nap. Straight up. Getting to feeling better, you know what I mean? Just working through this flare-up. It's been kind of miserable. When you're in, like, the grips of a flare-up, it can be bad. I get these open lesions in places where my skin touches my skin. I get this lethargy. I get these fevers. And I just took it easy. I just took a nap, boy. And I'm feeling way better now. Like, way better. Let's open up this Discord. How's everybody doing? Welcome back, Erica. I was just explaining to the show that I was late because I was sleeping like a fucking cherub with my hand on my nuts, man. Just out. Got that autoimmune disease and get that clinical lethargy, baby, and sometimes that shit hits hard. But welcome to the swing shift, everybody. Pile on in, pile on in. We've got really nothing but planning to do. Tomorrow, I'm excited. We're gonna have round 2 of some ghost stories. We're gonna attempt a paranormal day again. Our last paranormal day was kind of shat on by some well, it just seemed like the YouTube troll community didn't like it. But it didn't affect my like to dislike ratio, so what's one day a week? Doesn't matter to me. Which, speaking of, all you murkies, if you don't mind, throw a like on that, throw a thumbs up on this video. It lets the YouTube algorithm know we're doing right. Lets you guys know that you like what you see. Did everybody get their notification this time? That I went live? You should have. Particularly any of you subscribers that are over 5 days old. Should have gotten that notification.
Yeah, I got it like 5 minutes ago.
Okay, good. I've noticed it's taking a few minutes to go, so I'm kind of extending those intros as long as I can, waiting until some people kind of roll in, you know what I mean? So if you guys pop into a stream and you're a regular Murky and you see it says starting, just hang out, baby. I'm on my way. I'm just waiting to see y'all show up and know that you guys got that notification. Because my other account, it didn't notify me yet. I have more than one YouTube account. One of them is subscribed to Merc Radio, and I didn't get my notification. I hit that bell, baby. So just so you Murkies know, I'm trying to get that fixed so we all know when we're getting together. But it is technically True Crime Tuesday. I'm kind of, dude, I won't lie, through my nap, I just napped and dreamed about ghosts and shit. It's been fucking October. I'm into the spoopy. What I have going on here, what I played during the top of the show, gang, is one of the fathers of one of the victims of Nicholas Cruz. We talked about Nicholas Cruz last stream. I thought it was good to kind of pick back up on it. I saw that we were getting, I started kind of passing out toward the end of the last stream. Again, that clinical lethargy, baby. That autoimmune disease kicking my ass a little bit today. We were getting into like gun control and vaccines. Which I felt really bad I wasn't able to be more, given that conversation because I was just feeling ill at the moment. But I couldn't agree with both sides more. Like, personally, just to touch on what was at the end of the last show, it's not that I'm for gun control. I think we should invest in guns like we did automobiles, and we should offer tax incentives to make these things safer. I think the safety infrastructure of our firearms in America isn't necessarily given the love that it should. And it's because of things like special guests turned me on to this law that they have in New Jersey that once a smart gun hits the market, that is all that will legally be allowed to be sold in New Jersey. And that's crazy. There's rural parts of New Jersey where people want their hunting rifles and shit. I think they should be able to have them. I believe in smart guns for metropolitan areas. But much like automobile laws, like here in Arizona, you have to know, like, it's different in the city than it is out in the desert. Like, you can drive whatever the fuck you want out in the desert. In the city, you're supposed to make sure you're driving your everyday driver, you know? Ooh, Ted Bundy's had ghost hunts done. I'd love to channel Ted Bundy. I hope Az is still around. I didn't mean to nap through Az having the day off. Again, just that clinical lethargy came up and kicked my ass, and I just took the most sweet of little angel baby naps. Let's see here. I also slipped through all my messages, gang. Sorry about that. Lordy, lordy. But I would love to see like a Ted Bundy ghost hunt, or maybe us try to channel, I don't know. Who would everybody that's in the chat like to fucking channel for the paranormal day if we can get a Merc Mystic on it? Because I love that. I love it. We did a tarot read on Shane Dawson, and then we did a read on Brian Laundrie on the show, and love it. It's some of my favorite shit. Like, I genuinely felt like I had more insights after Az did that read on Brian Laundrie. I felt like maybe Az had a feeling that he was a fucking corpse in that swamp before anybody, and was maybe not saying it. You know what I mean?
Could do one of the Odies.
One of the Odies? Somebody from Heaven's Gate? Oh shit, wouldn't that be crazy? Somebody from fucking Heaven's Gate? You think they're out there? Wonder how that works. Now you've got me curious, Justin. That was a wow. Sorry, maybe it's the dabs. Maybe she's born with it. Maybe it's Maybelline. Good lord, that... Fuck, yeah, cult members. I never even thought about maybe channeling cult members. Like, hey, what was that shit like? Wouldn't that be interesting? Fuck. Man. Glad I got Bannerlord working. Oh. Mm-hmm. The Cecil is also a good ghost hunt. Yeah, I think we really should do the Cecil. The Cecil is what Arianthe was saying for Halloween. We released that on Halloween. If you guys like that, say what's up in the chat. Let me know. I mean, the Cecil. I'm down for the Cecil. I've been fascinated lately with kind of breaking down just the different types of ghosts and stuff you guys talk about. Like, I've been kind of keeping a little catalog, a little Mercronomicon, if you will, of everything spooky you guys encounter. That includes cryptids. And at some point, I'll hopefully post like my notes, and we'll maybe make a Mercopedia with all of our cryptids and ghost encounters. I think that'd be kind of cool, a cool resource. Like, yo, you check out my entry in the Mercopedia, there's a goddamn banshee. I bet trolls would use it to just say I had a mistress at one time, or I was in jail, or I was an NFL player. Those are some of my favorite rumors on planet Earth.
Got to make sure we put swamp cows in that pedia.
Swamp cows, and we got to come up with our own. What are swamp cows' powers? You know what I mean? What can they do? Put things like the puka in there. Mothman, Thick Biggie. It's not just Bigfoot. It's Thick Biggie. And Thick Biggie's the fucking truth.
That's a whole other subset. So.
Yeah, that is. That's like we got cryptids, and then underneath it, thick ass cryptids. We got that Chad, that shoulders popping Loch Ness monster, dude. Looks like he does nothing but a backstroke. Homeboy's just out there fucking with the shoulders. Swamp Cow Merc Radio shirt. I like that idea so much. I'm writing it down. I'm gonna see if we can't get a Swamp Cow Merc Radio shirt. It'd be cool if we could get, like, I don't know. I think it'd be funny to get like Zimmy's face on Dog the Bounty Hunter, and like, I don't know, shop me onto someone. An alligator that dog's whooping up or something. Put little glasses on an alligator. I don't know. I'd love a shout out to Zimmy shirt that's like, if it comes out that anthropologist finds like fucking evidence that even post-mortem Brian was eaten by a gator, I think that's enough fuel for me to just like kind of always give a little credit to Zimmy's intuition. There might be something to that. Zimmy saying from the jump that it was fucking gators is like my favorite thing in the world. You know, Zimmy's face on an alligator, says Erica. Word, lady. Word. Oh, I'd love that. I'd love that. Man, I hope everyone's having a good Tuesday, man. It's fucking been peaceful. Got a little breeze going on right now in the afternoon, man. Just walked downtown and back. Boy, was that a nice little walk. Father who took an alleged shooter speaks out to Nicholas Cruz's father. I've just got it auto playing Nicholas Cruz news. There were a lot of people, a lot of murkies that kind of came in and were a little unfamiliar with Nicholas Cruz. So I thought if anybody had any Nicholas Cruz questions, by the way, I'm open. I'm down to answer them. The best I can. I had him a little bit confused with Adam Lanza, but I'm a little more straight on it now. Not a spree killer, mass murderer. We talked earlier about the difference between like a serial killer and a spree killer and a mass murderer, and thank you, Erica, for coming in clutch with the black and whites on those. Like, because again, like until that moment, I was like, for some reason, thought Nicholas Cruz had harmed his adopted parents. Oh, word. Motherfucker looks crazy when they caught him, but we know he's not crazy. We watched the footage of him trying to mess with his arm with the Band-Aid. Know that that's some bunk-ass nonsense. Dude, yeah, crazy for the stay. Y'all better sip some coffee and wake up. It's a sleepy Tuesday, man. Ain't nothing anyone. Hey, it's fine. I'm glad it's in the air. I'm glad I'm not the only one. I'm fucking loving the guys. We have Christy, Erica, Shelly, and Kev in the lottery still for the merch, and we're sitting at like, I think we're at 17 bones altogether. 8, 13. We're like $16 in the lottery pool, and once it hits 50, we'll draw a name for a merch winner. Sounds like Erica gave her spot to whoever hasn't won in the past, so that's fucking exciting and cool. And as the prime minister of the lottery, yeah, fuck yeah, I'll allow it. You want to give you've already won and you want to give your spot up to someone else? That's fucking cool as shit. I won't lie, I'm kind of that dude that lets people cut him in a line, especially if I'm back home or something, like I'm in the South. I'm like, yeah, you better get in here, baby. Like, get up in front of me, old lady, with the cane and 2 items. You know what I'm saying? Like, I always let people like that cut me, dude, always. Love that vibe amongst y'all. Because you guys managed to be communal without seeming like commies. I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. I come from a really interesting town, in my opinion. It's, you know, I've been to multiple college towns all across the country. I've been in an indie band. I've played a lot of country, or a lot of different college towns throughout the nation. Probably fucking all of them. And look, the one I'm from has weird fascistic liberals, like straight up hammer and sickle liberals, and it is the weirdest shit to me. Like, I don't think they realize how...
Oh yeah, I run into it regularly.
It's so weird, and it's only Northwest Arkansas I've experienced that shit. I'm sure there's other university towns that are like that, but not that I've experienced, not quite like that. Like, where it's half of the fucking scene at times are people with hammer and sickles. They're canceling their local musicians and shit over fucking allegations, like mob justice like a motherfucker. And again, like, trying to be compassionate or cool artists while also propping up this ideal that would have me in a ditch. I would be dead. There's no place for me in that system. I'm ill. I'm a creative. I don't, you know what I mean? Like, I'd be in a ditch. They'd fucking gun me down. Both all the fascistic regimes of this planet have seemed to have gunned someone in my gene pool down. If Ancestry.com
I
is right.
especially don't understand it when creatives find themselves in that community.
It's so weird to me. How do you end up there? How does your ideology get twisted to the point you don't realize how shitty you're being? You know what I mean? Like, yeah, it's so weird to me. The fascistic communists, like liberals out there, it weirds me out. It's
Can you expand on that a little bit? I'm not sure what you guys are talking about.
Oh, well, like, imagine, if you will, a hipster that has gone from peace and love, and maybe you've tripped acid with at a music festival, gets a hammer and sickle tattoo, starts wearing nothing but overalls, and starts, like, talking about Nietzsche and Stalin and, you know, like the benefits of communism, and become fascistic in their outlook. Like, we're from a very interesting college town where the liberals have gone, like, hardcore communist, like fascistic, and it's fucking weird.
Well, that's a big switch.
Yeah, it's weird. Well, I mean, you know, if you follow communism, right? I mean, if you are a hippie that's into communes, I could see how your mind could slowly, you know, then you start reading Marx, then you start reading Nietzsche, and then you start fucking checking out what Stalin did. And next thing you know, you're getting a hammer and sick of fucking
excessive. Sorry, my bad.
Oh no, you're good. Keep going. I
think it's a response to the excessive right-wing fascistic tendencies in the area.
That's another,
It's just
yeah.
Wing of the pendulum.
Yeah. And here's the thing that drives me nuts about our area in particular is like, while we do have a lot of right-wing extremism, that's a little bit more of an issue toward Harrison. Like the gentrification of our area of the Ozarks has happened, and it's not as bad. In my opinion, there's not the justification for those liberals to act like that. That's like this, it's coming from the same, like, in my opinion, like white privileged pedestal that people like bitch at religions over. You know what I mean? Like you just, they're, it'd be different too if it wasn't all fucking trust funders or people who I know who are actively benefiting from our capitalist infrastructure, who were participating in it too. You know what I mean? Like it's always somebody who's like inherited a house and has their own business. You know what I mean? It's always like somebody who their wealth wouldn't exist if they were in a communist infrastructure. Too.
Most communists I know have either inherited something large or still live with mom and dad.
Exactly. And it's like I
don't think I know any communists.
At least the extreme one.
Oh yeah. Hey, you might not, Erica. Again, this is kind of just an issue. I've been to multiple college towns. It's definitely not an issue in the college town I'm currently in. There's no like a whole fucking gaggle of communists in overalls like there is in Arkansas. It's fucking weird.
Yeah, Justin and Arianthe and I were kind of touching on Arkansas earlier because I was like, oh, well, what's it like there? Like, what's the living? And then we kind of got somewhat into that subject, and I was interested to see some of the vast differences.
Yeah. Well, it's a place that no matter what demographic you're in, you feel overlooked. And it breeds a certain type of scene because everybody feels overlooked and everybody feels oppressed in some way. You know what I mean? The lefties think that, it's full of fucking racist and that nothing has changed and that it's still the fucking, 1990s. And then you have
causes a lot of cliquish clannishness.
It does, and a lot of weird shit I've been guilty of because I grew up in that scene, where it's like you don't realize how unhealthy it is until you get into other scenes, and you're like, okay, so I'm from a place that's functionally prison. Like it's an art scene that's as close as you can get to fucking prison. Everybody feels looked down on. Everybody feels like they have something to fucking prove, and that they're from a place that never gets enough hype. And that's both sides. Like even the hard right-wingers, right? They think that everything's been gentrified and they don't have a place, and that white men have no more place to fucking speak or make music in Arkansas. Like it's become really weird on both sides there, and it's because of these cultural extremes. They dip into things like music, and they start affecting even your art scenes in these dramatic ways. I watched this shit go down where it's like, all right, so now we're gonna be even shittier toward each other, but act like we're not. You know what I mean? Like, it was so weird. I had friends who consider themselves somewhat liberal who, while I've always been a fan of their band, wouldn't really go to shows because they're assholes. And that's just how it goes in Arkansas. It's just a fucking cliquish kind of thing. And it's like, I'll fucking buy the record. I'll listen to the record endlessly. And I'll do my best to get a motherfucker one-on-one, because normally in that situation, if you get them away from your group, you can become their friend in that situation. And, there's just definitely bands where it's like, then they switch tags. And like, well, now I'm friendly. But no one in the audience is. Like, it's like, for fuck, well, there's no winning there. Like, how the Civil War wasn't about slavery, Arkansas. Exactly, James. Yeah. See, it's there. You get people showing up in Arkansas with some crazy fucking beliefs and ideas. Like crazy fucking beliefs and ideas. And it's
shooting in Connecticut, huh?
Oh yeah, this is from 2012.
I know, but is this Sandy Hook one?
I don't think so.
Oh, it says Connecticut, but I can't really see.
If so, get it off the screen quick.
Yeah. Oh shit, it is.
Ugh,
Get it out of here quick. Yeah, it's true. Get that Sandy Hook business out of here. Yeah, I'm not even going into that business. Because that's, I mean, we all know. We all know why that's a fucking violation of the TOS at this point. We all saw what happened to Alex Jones. What's weird is I've never gotten a copyright strike from Alex Jones. The Golden Girls have struck me.
I think he just wants his stuff out there any way he can get it.
Yeah. Brian Inton tried, but he's a newsman.
Really?
Yeah, he tried, but I appealed it. I was like, he's a news anchor.
Oh my goodness, I can't even picture him doing that.
Yeah. Well, I think maybe it was on his behalf, or maybe the anchor. I don't know. I think maybe he's technically an NBC affiliate, right?
News Nation? I'm not sure.
I don't remember if he's with Ashley Banfield or if he's actually with he's an affiliate.
I think he says Brian Enton from News Nation.
Oh, gotcha.
I should know because I've watched him religiously for 6 weeks.
Yeah.
I should know, but
yeah. Oh shit, Full Metal comes back with the person passing out that pamphlet was a person of color. Exactly an example of how fucking weird and extremist Arkansas can get. It's so fucking weird there. And you don't realize so you're in a different college town and you're like, oh yeah, the world's college towns aren't all extreme and fascistic on both sides. The Laundries have returned home. I saw that, Debbie. I saw that the Laundries are now back home. They are done with the vacation. Hopefully they are opening up some fucking lawsuits on the people. Because here's the thing, Debbie. I just watched, before I turned this stream on, I watched 1080p fucking 360 video of them returning home. I was like, the fuck? That's their house. You can get someone in so much trouble.
where do you think they...
Where do I think the Laundries went? I think they went to Orlando for a little bit. I think they went and took a time off to grieve and have their version of a closed funeral. Just keep in mind they can't do anything normal right now.
Yeah, I agree. I think they had whatever they consider a goodbye.
Yeah.
What do you think, Debbie? Debbie loves the Laundries. She's obsessed.
Yeah, Debbie. Let me. Yeah, what do you think happened?
Bring it on, Debbie.
Oh, it's so nice to have you, Erica and Justin. It's I've done this show alone so many times.
Oh, well, that's no fun. I mean...
Yeah, it does. It gets wild after a while. You start kind of That's why I had a show called Echo Chamber. It was just me.
Justin needs to get off of work so he can hop on here full throttle.
Yeah. Special guest, we kind of have a crazy evening going on, or we would want some company. Lux has a lot going on this evening, or I'd say yeah. But we on for Thursday still, baby. It's Conspiracy Thursday, and we're doing the Tattered Map again this Thursday. Oh yeah, we do have to pick a topic. Tattered Map.
Debbie says they're not having a funeral. So where do you think they went, Deb? Give me the scoop.
They went to an underground tunnel where the big government is swapping them out with body duplicates, because now we get a new Laundrie family, and the original Laundrie family, rocked with trauma, have used their federal hookups to get them into the breakaway civilization that lives underground. Boom. I'm gonna need conspiracies like that, by the way, guys. I can't have the Laundries have trackers in their butts. Period. I'm not I'm not a female's Twitter, guys. Or a female's Twitter. A female's fucking Tinder. You can't just come at me with, hey, want dick? Question mark. Like, nah, you gotta give me something more.
Give me the juice.
Give me some words. Use your big boy words. With the conspiracies, I love that shit. That's why but again, you guys have seen, like, I have a tolerance now with special guests with conspiracies. But I think they used to. Oh. Oh, where they used to live with the family, maybe, Debbie says. I agree with that. Yeah, again, I think maybe they're kind of their version of, like, sitting Shiva, like their version of mourning and grieving and just going and getting it out, you know? Probably what they were doing, surely. Man.
Yeah, they probably felt like, oh, we can finally leave and not have people up our ass.
Exactly. Oh, man. I FaceTime my kiddo this afternoon, too. Guys, my son's hilarious. If y'all think I'm occasionally funny, he is a smart ass 100% of the time.
How old is he? 11?
4.
Oh, 4.
Yeah.
Oh, well then.
Yeah, he's 4. He's 4. Freshly divorced. My divorce was finalized at the beginning of the month, I believe.
4-year-olds say some funny shit.
Oh man, he's fucking hilarious. His mom's a smart ass too. Baby mama can be quite a pretty funny person. Our bullshit aside, she is a funny person. Like, so I know he's just giving everybody hell. Some of the stories she'll tell me too, like at the end of a day, it's like, wow. Are you serious? He said that in front of everybody, and they're like, "Yeah, he made adults get quiet. He's 4."
That's great.
Oh man, I remember being like that. I was a little sharp with the tongue when I was younger. In my family, everybody's so loud and crazy, and it's just kind of one big chaotic shout fest that you kind of wait for that perfect moment. You kind of sit back and you calculate where everyone's weak points are, and then the moment there's a bit of silence, you fucking hit them with it. Shut everyone the fuck up. And I just got a feeling he's already like that. And it makes me kind of proud. Again, I don't know. There's a lot that about myself that I used to consider like almost a curse to have to put in a child, and then you have a child and you get that. I kind of agree with Tom Segura, like having a kid's kind of a selfish endeavor. Like everybody talks about how selfless it is, and I agree with that when it comes to the harm on a woman's body. But for a man, it's just selfish as shit, man. Like what you just you have a kid and you kick back and you're like, I love him. My favorite parts are the parts that remind me of me. The parts that remind me of you are cool too, but like I love it. There's a certain level of kind of almost selfish pride I get, especially when he acts out. And that's all my babies though. There's something that kind of makes me chuckle when I see them doing shit that I don't know. My sister and I would do as little sketchy Appalachian kids. Lift your wallet and leave rocks in your pockets. You know what I'm saying?
Steal your wallet and help you look for it.
Yeah, boy. Well, no, they'll just let you know. We're tough as fuck. I told you guys about Great Uncle Sid, right? He pop out and trade you pocket knives, and it's not till he's down the road you realize that he gave you a fucking broken pocket knife. And he's slick with it. We just got, there's a certain, Devil Bill, father to the, what's his name? Rockefeller. The first big Rockefeller, right? He used to say, he was quoted as saying, "I cheat my kids every day. So they know." And so there's just like while I don't cheat a kid every day. There's the occasional time I'll play a game just to show him like, hey, here's a cute little trick. You know, there's been times I've, you know, for good, been able to survive off of some of the sketchy shit I've learned from that side of my family. Pickpocket skills, shit like that. Pull a watch off of someone's wrist while you're walking past, little shit. Fuck with an Easy Mart cashier and get more change back than what you gave. That's another, I've seen my dad do that.
Like confuse them.
Yeah, you just kind of ping pong them, run some game on them mentally, and the next thing you know, they're handing you fucking a couple 20s and you're bouncing out of there. You gave them like a 5. Like, yeah. That's especially if you know somebody just fucking got changed for 100 and they put 100 under the drawer thing. You can fuck with somebody in a rush too. So that's where my watch went. Yeah, it could have been, you know, reformed, recovered me tries to not have sticky fingers, but I'd be lying if I said that I didn't dip into the occasional stinking thinking and say, hey, that'd be a real quick bill to pull out of that dude's wallet just hanging out of his back pocket.
Hey, Christy.
But, what up, Christy? But I, you know, I've been like that since I was broke as shit working in kitchens. I'd say years. Fuck, I think the last time I did some shit like that, Full Metal, was right before I moved in to that McCoy compound. Like that was about the last time I was like that. It was like a long time ago.
Oh, Debbie, thanks for the nugget. Debbie wrote, WFLA is live now with title saying no DNA match.
Ooh, we got an inconclusive DNA match? Are you kidding me? Oh, JB's gonna be pissed, gang. I'm glad we're all here.
Is it never gonna end?
I'm glad we're here for this. No DNA analysis yet on Brian Laundrie remains. Oh, just no DNA analysis yet. So we just haven't gotten the results yet.
Word that they need to obtain the dental records and the dental history of a particular patient of that dental office. They'll then examine it, do a thorough examination, and you'd be surprised
yeah, it was falling apart.
How many characteristics, unique characteristics that are unique to your. It's not as indistinguishable as a fingerprint. A fingerprint, of course, is an extremely
beautiful. It was a beautiful,
helpful. What's the word I'm looking for here?
Big house. It was cool.
It's very accurate. Thank you. Extraordinarily accurate means of identifying a person, matching the identity of a person. Thank you. But teeth are an extraordinarily accurate way as well. And that's what the examiners used, as far as the forensic examiners used when they collected these skeletal remains at the Carlton Reserve. That was their best bet as far as coming to a determination. And let's not forget, this is the FBI. They have all of the means at their disposal, and they're not going to announce this unless they are certain that these dental records do match that of Brian Laundrie. So there had to have been enough indistinguishable characteristics there within the dental remains to confirm that, yes, that this was in fact Brian Laundrie. We know that there's so much out there about speculation out there. We understand, but the DNA testing will eventually be conducted and will provide us, hopefully, with more answers than we know right now.
Yeah, but as you said, JB, this is confirmed by authorities. So this is Brian Laundrie's remains that were discovered, and the skull is a bone that's very strong, from my understanding, and teeth obviously did not deteriorate. So they were also they also last a while in the elements in the swamp, where many other parts of the body might not. The teeth, the skull. These are parts of the body that can help investigators identify remains in cases like this, where perhaps significant amount of time has gone by and that body has not been recovered.
Let's talk about the other aspect of this story that we're going to be streaming here. We're going to be here with you for approximately another 20 to 30 minutes with 8 on your side investigator Masa Saidi, who is taking time out of a very busy evening schedule to join us here on WFLA Now, so she deserves a lot of applause here.
Always a pleasure to be here with you, JB.
A lot of applause on YouTube, especially. I know the YouTube comments section likes to light up here for you, Masa. Let's get to some of the comments that we have coming in, and the last one that just came in is from Jenny Patterson. #KJB, I don't think we need to blame the police on misidentifying Brian. Remember, his parents lawyer up, and would it or wound up on their shoulder, but I guess they want to blame someone besides themselves. This is kind of a fractured comment here from Jenny, but I think I understand what she is saying. Let's talk about the statement that was released by Josh Taylor, Northport Police Public Information Officer, early today, because it was a statement that said a whole lot, and I'm bringing up my...
Yeah, please bring up yours. I'm also highlighting what I think you're referring to.
Yeah, here is the entire statement that was released. And let's just backtrack for a second for those who maybe missed our stream yesterday, October 25th, 2021. So the news comes out yesterday that officers, investigators mistook Roberta Laundrie in a baseball cap for Brian Laundrie. And that was something that
you guys have heard me bitch a lot about people who bring their dogs everywhere because I'm allergic to dogs. Like people who bring their dogs into like little cafes and shit. Like, come on. I'm just trying to eat a croissant and now I can't breathe. But I do want to talk about how fucking pretty all the dogs are around this town. I'm in a college town, so everyone has an unusually large dog for how big of an apartment they have. And they're all adorable. There's this one, like, I don't know, like Pyrenees mix or something. He's adorable. And he's straight up, he'll wink at you and shit. And he kind of like, if he's out in the little like courtyard, he'll kind of like give you the head, like, hey, come down here, come open the door, bitch, just play. I love that.
Marianne has Great Pyrenees. I believe she has 2.
Yes. My grandfather used to breed them. I love them, and she got a sweet puppers too. All Arianthe's animals are pretty sweet though. I'm assuming the snakes too, but I wouldn't know from experience, but I would assume they are. So only snakes I'm gonna say are probably sweet boys. Or any animal recovery. Sorry, Justin, what was it?
I just said as sweet as snakes can be, probably.
As sweet as something cold-blooded can be. People, you know, when we first started covering Brian Laundrie, we're talking about gator. You can snuggle a caiman. I don't know about all that. I mean, if you're calling what Steve Irwin did snuggling.
Yeah, exactly. And Mr.
I mean, you can cuddle a piranha too, but that doesn't mean it's not going to take a bite out of you.
Yeah.
Mr. Taylor, that Brian may have already been deceased when Northport PD.
If she has ball pythons, though, some of my friends had those growing up, and they like connect to like one person, and they are really sweet.
They should be acknowledged and used to train or educate others.
People swear by that, like ball pythons in particular. I've heard that multiple times. Like, these are actually hella sweet animals. Sorry if I keep looking behind me. We got they're renovating the apartment next door, so I'm like, oh shit. They've knocked a few times. Like, hey, we're about to hammer the shit out of it. All the walls in these apartments are brick. So sometimes I guess they gotta get loud. So you guys hear like some banging and I mute the mic really fast. That's all that was. It's just the apartment next door. We're having a little construction. I used to do that shit. I couldn't imagine doing that shit in a place with brick walls. It would fucking suck endlessly. I'd be burning through masonry bits. Burning through them. Drilling holes and shit. Then how common TV mounts are. You know? I love have you guys seen those new posters that are on like metal? It's like a metal thing that you like functionally GM or like 3M adhesive tape to your fucking wall and then you stick it to the magnet.
No.
Man, they're apparently cooler and less wasteful than posters. Like they last longer because they're metal. So they don't like break or anything. You don't really have to frame them. And you can put whatever the fuck you want on them.
Don't have to worry about the corners or anything. That sounds like a good idea.
Yeah. I was like, man, you know, they're offering sponsorships to streamers and affiliates and stuff. So like, since we're a real talk radio station now, guys, I might try to get us a hookup on that shit. That's one of the people I'm trying to shoot for, because those look so cool. And it is less wasteful. Like does seem like it's, I don't know. Yeah, you don't have to worry about corners. Storing it, you just slide that shit. It comes with a box. You can kind of keep the box if you want. Seems like it's a kind of a low maintenance box situation you can just put in a closet and forget about.
By all accounts, this is a very
I'll have to look it up because I never heard of
I
it.
think the word is embarrassing. I think it's a very embarrassing mistake that they made. We've all seen.
It's, man, I'll get a name on it. I already forgot the name of the damn product. So if you're out there watching people with blank blank,
How could the Northport Police
I swear I'd be better if you endorsed me. I swear I would.
Brian Laundrie won, what we know is on September
I'd remember the name of your
Brian
product.
Laundrie got in his Mustang, and when he drove away,
Cut to me calling Atlas VPN NordVPN.
but it does appear that law enforcement did not follow him, did not
I'm like,
track
I can be
that.
comically bad at those sponsorship pulls. I don't have to do them anymore.
At the time on September 13th, I believe JB became a person of
Like, not
interest
until
in
it's,
the
you know,
missing persons investigation on September 15th.
like a new way around it
Said,
kind of
"Oh,
thing.
on the 13th,
But
we
ugh.
wouldn't have followed him. He wasn't charged at the time. So then
I'm so envious sometimes of special guests in his, he's got experience specifically in radio broadcast. You guys probably notice how just good special guest is on a microphone.
So this is obviously, I think I'm fair. I don't
Yeah,
know
it seems
what
like he knows exactly how to talk no matter how far away from the mic he is.
Yes, very good voice control. Very, very good voice control. Like, you know, he's one of those people I try to absorb from as much as I can when I hear his candor on, particularly on air.
I've noticed he's one of the only people who can sound loud without overwhelming the mic.
Yes, yes, he's very good at, and you know, what he's doing too is, it's almost genius. Like, he's, where I've got the microphones, like this little kind of pocket of wall, right? So it kind of bounces back in and then shoots out back. He's able to, exactly what you said with his voice, kind of catch around it. Much more than I can. I'm particularly soft-spoken. Talked a bit today because on the show, you know, I'm naturally pretty introverted. I'm a pretty quiet dude. Naturally, you know, sometimes talking 8 hours a day. I get to like the end of a stream day, and I'm like, damn, my voice is fucked. It's just not used to it. And special guest is one of those where, like, I've definitely talked to the point of being raspy, and he's still crack-a-lack, and dude's just a natural at this shit. So I'm very excited for him to get a, like, he's getting a channel launch, he's getting the whole, like, he's got a theme and, like, an idea for, like, the visual elements of his channel, and I'm very fucking excited for it. I'm also excited to get the space to finish the vocals for all of our death metal. Got so much death metal to release, guys.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, I hope some of you guys like really crazy kind of old school metal.
Who's doing the vocals for it?
I mean, we're gonna probably have special guests as much as I can, as much as he can.
Cool. I figured he did vocals, but I wasn't sure.
He does, and he like everything else that he does, I think he tries to talk down on it, but you hear his mic control. He tracks just fine, especially once he's used to the situation. It takes every studio musician a little bit to acclimate to their setup, the setup you have them in. So like he takes, like, it's almost like clockwork. Like, you can almost like take a bong rip, fucking make sure the metronomes are set, like, make sure everything's good on your end, and, like, boom, right at the end of that, bam, he's acclimated. Special guest is ready to roll. You can just hit track, and he's good. Or I'll just start taking loops. I'll just wait. Sometimes I'll just start tracking him in the middle of what he probably considers like a rehearsal or a practice. Catch something and be like that, but dumb it down. Because I come from the Rick Rubin school of production, where I consider myself a reducer. Everybody has an idea, and me in particular, Justin, you heard me play particularly in my youth, where it's like, I'll drop 8 riffs in fucking 3 minutes and forget them all in fucking 2. Like, you know what I mean? Like it.
Oh yeah.
So there's like, I've found, you know, ways around that, and one of my biggest tools is kind of this transcendental reduction. Like, you have to just reduce that artistic idea down to its core, and that's what you're there for. I've found, and that's normally what sells.
You can always
the best.
add thrill later.
Exactly. You can always add that variation. That idea can still be there as long as you track the reduced sauce of what you're doing. You're fucking ahead of the game, you know?
where Brian is at.
And a lot of the times,
That
you know,
mindset might help me with some of my recording. Thanks.
hey, absolutely, absolutely. And if there's anything you ever want to play for me or send my way to listen to, I don't mind at all. Again, like, I also love experimenting. Like, there's something to going at, like, into non-traditional ways of production. It's like I've kind of stayed in the realm of bedroom production for a long time, but like the more analog I go with things, I don't know, it's like it's kind of become, I prefer, if I'm doing guitar, I'll plug that fucker right into the DAW. Like, all right, you're basically getting a clean guitar signal, and I'll monitor out with whatever effects, whatever amp model, whatever. You know, we're at the point of technology where I can kind of model anything on my Mac, and I love that shit. Like,
We live in a time and age where you can have an entire village in a box.
yeah. So I have a very, like, minimalist setup, but I feel like I can do a lot with it now because of not just digital backend, but like because it's minimal. Like, I can just sit down at it and just go. Like, that was the hardest part. That's the hardest part about bedroom production, in my opinion, is getting a setup where you can do what an artist needs to do with an easel at home, and that's sit down and work, you know. And or like, you know, like your Forge, just like, you know, yeah, there's preparations you have to make and things like that, but for the most part, I bet you have a space you can just go work.
Yeah, I have a space in the barn that's just the forge.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, it's normally messier than it should be, but I can normally just walk in, light the fire, and start if I want to.
Yeah, yeah. You and a lot of the cats from your part of Arkansas taught me too, just in my experience through life. Like, your area's love for grassroots instruments. The importance of that is you always have something there ready to go and catch an idea. Like, it's
Yeah, I still
endlessly
have
important.
issues with electronic instruments sometimes because it's just so much easier to pick up an acoustic guitar or a banjo or whatever and just have a song.
Yeah, yeah. Oh man, that I freaked special guest and Angel out the other day before I left for Arizona. I was in Arkansas and I have a mandolin. And I was just like getting down. I was just playing some bluegrass shit. And special guest walks in and is like, holy shit, that's not something you're listening to. And I was like, huh? And Angel's like, fuck it, you can play mandolin? And I'm like, what? Yeah, I mean, yeah.
It's got strings, doesn't it?
Yeah, it's, you know, EADG, just upside down and with 2 strings each. And special guest was like, shut the fuck up. And I'm like, no, it is that easy. Like, you just need...
It's like when you tell people a ukulele is just the 4 top strings of a guitar.
Yes. Yeah. Like, no, it's like, no, you got this. Just, you know. But mandolin's one of those that, like, you know, really because of people from, like, your neck of the woods and my being turned on to, like, people who, like, their primary thing is a grassroots instrument, is like, that changed the game for me. Suddenly I could roll out of bed and catch an idea. Where before it was like I had a classical guitar and I had basses, and I always felt like I had to maybe get a band together or do this big elaborate thing to get an idea out, and you don't have to. Like, I'm almost frustrating with how minimal I am, where it's like, you know, someone brings a bunch of gear and I'm like, fuck that. And they're like, what? I'm like, plug it into the fucking computer. Like, why? Let's get the idea out first. Like, we can experiment with reamping and stuff, but why, you know, I've got an orange cab in my computer. Like,
I burned myself out trying to get too technological with my setup because I was trying to do the whole one-band looping situation for a while.
Yeah.
And I was carrying around as much equipment as a band does.
Yeah. And that's when you know, like, even there's people like Mark Rebier who are a good example of, like, a slimmed down, like, a loop station and a keyboard and, like, some percussion instruments and their voice. But then you have people like Jacob Collier, where it's like, dude is bringing 3 bands worth of instruments and loop stations, you know?
Yeah, I literally had guitar, bass, mandolin, banjo, trumpet, anything that I knew how to relatively play most of the time.
Yeah. Derry Bean says, so you're the Mandalorian. I am. I can play mandolin. I'm fluent in mandolin at this point too. I'm not bad. I can kind of keep up with a band and riff and stuff. Learned a lot of that from Dr. Baby.
The notebook to the autopsy report.
The notebook, which apparently.
Erica, hold on, let me go back a little bit. He had 1 million followers on TikTok. Debbie, did you see the TikTok guy who killed his wife and companion? What? Oh no.
Remember, I say this over and over again.
Yeah, he installed a spy cam on his 5-year-old's iPad, and he heard them talking and just went over and straight up shot them both.
Oh no.
It's the second one. Yep.
At his wife, leaving 1 gunshot wound in her forehead. Again,
family breaks
The
down
anguish.
in a courtroom after shocking new details are revealed in a double murder in an East Village high-rise
No
apartment.
point in being a one-man band if you need 4 roadies, says special guest. That's very true, and I've kind of... That's where I got, where I'm like...
Set up a hidden iPad to spy on her. Ali Abelban was seen
Shit, let me play through this real
even
quick.
seen
Just a few
sobbing
minutes.
uncontrollably in court today. Fox 5's Kelsey Christensen is live downtown with the new developments. Kelsey.
Well, the details in the shooting really are pretty extreme.
I hope
The
that was
victims'
painful for
families
him.
had to hear those details for the first time in court today as the accused shooter pled not guilty.
Not guilty pleas to all counts and allegations.
In a blue jumpsuit and behind glass.
So what is he saying
29-year-old
happened?
Ali Abulaban
Where's
was
Jameson?
seen sobbing at Monday's arraignment as the prosecutor read aloud the details of the double homicide he's being charged with. The famous TikToker is facing life in prison without the possibility of parole for allegedly killing his estranged wife, 28-year-old Anna Abulaban, and her friend, 29-year-old Rayburn Barron, inside Spire, the couple's high-rise apartment in East Village.
He ran from the elevator to the apartment. He immediately fired 6 rounds from his firearm. First, he shot Rayburn Barron 3 times. The bullets entered his neck, his cheek, and the back of his head at close range.
We're back in the band.
Fired
The special
at
guest,
his
true.
wife, leaving 1 gunshot wound in her forehead.
Deputy District Attorney Taryn Brass says following the couple's recent history of domestic violence, his wife Anna was trying to leave the marriage after Ali
Domestic
reportedly
violence
pushed her to
strikes
the
again.
ground last month.
Yeah.
She no longer wanted to be with him. She was actually planning to file a restraining order against him, and she had kicked him out of the apartment on October 18th. And so he had been staying at a hotel for 3 nights.
But Brass told Fox 5 that Ali secretly kept a copy of the key to their apartment. She says he snuck in and vandalized it while installing an app on their 5-year-old daughter's iPad, allowing him to hear everything inside the apartment in real time, which is how he knew Barron was inside. That's when Ali allegedly drove to their apartment and opened fire, killing them both. Shortly after Ali picked up their 5-year-old daughter from school, he was arrested on the 15 freeway less than an hour later with a weapon and his daughter inside the car. Prosecutors also say the TikToker called his mom after the shooting and admitted to killing his wife. And we're also told that their daughter is staying with family. She is safe. Ali is not allowed to contact family, including their 5-year-old daughter. Also, something about this case: domestic
Debbie, you know a woman in
violence
Tennessee
cases
that
are
plays
actually
drums.
up this year.
Huh.
Here locally in San Diego, some 500 higher reports than last year. The Filipino Resource Center and the DA will be holding a forum on November 1st to see what to do about fixing that statistic. Reporting live downtown, Kelsey Christensen, Fox 5 News.
And it is Domestic Violence Awareness Month, so lots to be talked about here. Thank you so much, our Kelsey.
October's been Domestic Violence Awareness Month this whole month, and we haven't brought it up a fucking once. I did not know that.
Hey, I'm wearing my t-shirt.
Oh, man. Shit. I feel hella out of the club. I am so down for that month. What? I didn't know that. Ah, fuck.
I didn't know if it was like a touchy subject, so I didn't bring it up.
Oh, yeah. No, I mean...
Well, now you know, and knowing is half the battle.
Knowing is half the battle.
Yeah, I know.
Hey, we'll be around next October, so we'll make sure to cover it hard then. Man, that is a tragic fucking story. How are you gonna plead fucking not guilty?
Like, he admitted
he's out of
to
his
it,
mind.
so how can he plead not guilty?
That's what I'm wondering. Like, are you?
Gonna plead insanity? Where's Jameson?
Yeah, we need Jameson. Let's put out the Jameson signal. It's just a gavel in a spotlight.
That signal.
Yeah. Jameson, we need you. He's like, what?
Yeah. He's gonna plead insanity, crime of passion.
Oh, word. What up? It's Mrs. Bean. Hell yeah. Zaria, guys. It's Arianthes in the chat. As Derek. Oh, man.
Hi, my girl.
But to go, just to backpedal just for a moment to art, because special guest cracked me up. He's like, next thing you know, you're all like, man, you're a one-man band, but you got 4 roadies. You're like, fuck it, I'm just gonna have one of these roadies be in the drums, be on the drums, because you know you're just back in the band. Like, yeah, I've definitely kind of been in situations like that, and then it's like, fuck, now I depend on a band again. It's always hard.
Hey, it looks like there might be a bot in the Twitch chat. Do you want me? I don't think I'm a mod in there, so I don't know if that's something you want dealt with or not.
Oh, a bot in the Twitch chat. I can't
It's
see
just
it.
a bunch of links.
Does it
just
say?
a bunch of links being posted?
Does it say Pretzel Rocks?
That sounds right. Yeah.
That's actually just the music player. It's just giving links to the music that's in the background. I don't think you guys can hear it in the Discord.
Okay. Cool.
Yeah, I'll keep a little bit of music
I just wanted
playing.
to make sure.
I also kind of like it because it makes it a little bit easier on just to keep the visual chat available for everybody. If I have something that kind of keeps the river flowing if things stop, especially if someone says something fucking crazy and then it just stops, it's just lingering there on screen on my face. I'm like, well, at least maybe if I don't catch it, Pretzel will.
Good call. Okay, I get it.
Yeah, but anybody interested in like a rights-free music player or a place to source rights-free music that's a little more modern and submitted by artists that are active, Pretzel is a very cool app. It's integrated with the show, so that's why you see that bot showing those links and stuff. Is it's kind of designed for doing stuff like this, where you just need some rights-free music. You can set it to instrumental, you can set it to YouTube safe, you can set it to Twitch safe, and just jam. Discover some new shit, hopefully. That's my favorite, is like when people are like, hey, what's this song? And I'm able to actually be like, hey, it's here on Pretzel, it's so and so. It sucks when it's like, it's Fart Dick with the song Fart Butts 92. It's like, damn it. Every time.
Oh, okay. Arianthe said, even if you admit to doing something, you want to plead not guilty so you can get to trial.
Gotcha.
She's so smart. I love her.
Yeah. Ooh, yeah, what should I do for ghost channeling? Trigger objects are rad. I don't know any of this. But I'm down to get with all the Merc Mystics tomorrow and try to summon, channel a ghost. Particularly one that was in a cult. It'd be weird to build a cult based off of books you wrote off of channeling dead cult members of other cults. I don't know what I'm talking about. Oh man.
Can we do the leader of the Odies?
Ooh, Herf Applewhite? Hell yeah. Or Bonnie Nettles, both. I want to do both. I'm into Bonnie Nettles and Marshall Herf Applewhite.
Alright.
I would love to channel both of them on the show. Again, tomorrow can be as spoopy as we want to make it. Yeah. But I don't have any means to channel any ghosts, so I need help. Whoever's got whatever, I'm into it.
Are those the one that changed their name to Doe and Ray?
Yeah, Doe and Peep. Well, Peep at one point too. Bo and Peep at one point. Like, and then yeah, Doe and I think Ray. Yeah. It's so.
There was one that named it after the musical tones, like Do, Re, Mi, Fa, Sol, La, Ti, Do.
Yeah. I want to say it was Doe. I think it was Doe and Ray. or something dough and something else. It was definitely on the musical scale. It was on the scale though, yeah. But boo, they had these people singing The Sound of Music.
Maybe it was tea.
It was dough and tea. There you go. Yeah. Bonnie's in a spaceship. Duh. That's true. We can actually probably just call her, right? You think she got Verizon for the service range?
I don't know if we have any trigger objects, Arianthe. At least I don't.
Yeah. No, I got nothing. I got this dope ass beard balm from Az and that pain balm.
Where's Ed, Lorraine, Warren when you need them? They have all those objects.
Oh, if we could just... I would love to take a trip to that museum and get in trouble for touching stuff. You're gonna get a curse. I'm like, bitch, I'm already cursed. I got a chronic ill. Bitch, I'm already dying.
Right?
Was it gonna make me die faster? Fuck off.
I don't even know. I don't know how they had Annabelle in their house with their little kids all that time. Like,
Oh, yeah. That the balls on them to be convinced that like their magic is keeping that shit in that box. But man, and I'll watch any of those Conjuring movies.
Strong God.
What was that?
They better be worshiping some strong gods.
For real. Well, and Ed was considered himself like an actual demonologist. Like that was he had that as his trade. He's a demonologist.
Like Goetia style stuff, or?
Well, yeah, he was kind of. I think he held Christian beliefs. I think it was. He considered himself like rogue papacy demonology.
he used to teach classes on that.
Yeah.
He was like a professor. Well, I don't know the term, but yeah, he used to teach classes and teach other people how to be a demonologist.
Yeah. Like that was his trade, was demonology, and his book is his books are fascinating, and like I don't know, he's kind of why I like keeping a catalog of what everybody talks about as a community. I think surely there's commonality, and I would do this with any other phenomenon, right? So to see something broadly, or to know something broadly, is to see it in all things. So I'll take notes every time, because of Ed Warren. He's like, demonology, baby. You see something, you hear a bump in the night, write it down. Just in case
Yeah, I mean, it's smart.
I got a feeling we're gonna end up with like a really cool, dash of knowledge on paranormal stuff. That's if the trolls don't keep attacking specifically Paranormal Day. We'll see. It's fucking hilarious.
Well, Arianthe and we're pretty well versed in that stuff. We could go for days.
Good.
That specific stream might have just been bad timing too.
Could have just been cursed. We've had a couple different cursed, been doing this. I have a whole cursed season of a show that I did for this channel, actually. It's just cursed. It's copyright hell.
They better not mess with my spoopy time. That's like my niche in life.
I know. They messed with last week's spoopy time, but I think we'll be alright. I mean, we did it anyway. And then it got broke. No, it got interrupted by Brian Laundrie. Brian Laundrie's motherfucking remains.
Yeah, BL better stay out of it.
Is what fucking derailed last week's paranormal shit, actually. That's what fucking ended up pulling the stream and us going over to breaking news. So let's hope Wednesday's not rife with the breaking news. I did predict Wednesday is when we're gonna get DNA results.
It's part of the biz.
Yeah.
Give the people what they want.
Give them what they want. They want that fucking big ass update.
Yeah, I mean, we're all invested now, so there's no turning back.
Yeah, and I'd be lying too if it's like, if I wasn't streaming about it, I'd just be talking about it. Anyway, like, you guys believe this news?
Yeah.
Man. All right, let's go back to this. Is WFLA still alive? Are they still
at the reserve? Did the cops know that
they just answering questions?
Hashtag Hey JB.
Cops. No.
Hey JB. What hair product you use, baby?
When they found out.
Oh my gosh. Who waxes your eyebrows?
Again,
Yeah.
Part of the report yesterday, and part of just
Do you?
again.
Why you know you look like Jeff Goldblum? Why do you get the Jimmy Neutron haircut?
Love Jimmy Neutron.
I do too, but JB could do a lot better.
Sarah Hart on Twitter. Hello, Sarah. Thanks for joining us. #AJB, #Mouse. Can you recap? I'm late to the stream. We're wrapping up our stream now.
He's infamous for striking people's videos too.
WFLA News Channel 8, our award-winning digital team, is posting
Word on the street.
on, you guessed it, WFLA.com, WFLA app with the latest.
He tried it first, yeah.
On Brian Laundrie. This is gonna
On you?
our live stream here. Again, big thanks to everybody on
Oh, yeah.
This was a stream, a
What
live
a
stream.
butt munch.
Oh yeah. You know who didn't try on me? Molly Golightly. A once. Never a once.
Nah, he's pretty cool with it. Like,
Yeah, she's cool as shit. Never once did I receive any, and at any time that there was like, I think there was something from Wife Swap, which is out of her control, but like,
yeah.
I fucking sent that off to YouTube, and they're like, yeah, it is transformative, but I cut it out anyway. I was like, I'm not even gonna. I try to not mess with the back end too hard like that. YouTube can be, it's one of those things too, like where if it comes down to like, you can fight it, but you risk deactivation, it's like, oh, well, I'll clip it, baby. Don't worry about it. I'll cut that shit out.
Yeah, you might as well.
Yeah, I don't give a shit. I got, we have an editing bay at Studio Lux, and man, I do feel for JB. Like, this dude's now, his career is this. I do hope he can manage to do something, and maybe we can see him on a bigger platform. Wouldn't it be crazy if one day he's the next Geraldo? He grows a fat daddy mustache and gets to reporting the trashy news.
Hey, everybody starts somewhere.
Yeah. Guys, I would take that gig if they were like, you want to be Geraldo functionally? Like, you want to have a Jerry Springer? I'm like, fuck yeah.
I think he's like too above that. He seems like,
Yeah.
I don't know. You know what I mean?
Yeah, he wouldn't want to mess with his credibility that way. Yeah, he wouldn't want to, yeah. Me, I'm down for it. I don't know. I'd let this shit get as Howard Stern as possible. Within GOS for the platform I'm on. But I
everybody I knew like hated Howard Stern, but like, I mean, it's entertainment. Like,
it's one of those that everyone I know that hates him listens to him.
Yeah, like, yeah, mm-hmm.
Where it's like, do you hate him? You're still there.
Yep.
You still listen to him.
It's still interaction, and bad attention is still getting him attention. Everyone was talking about him.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, like, if you show up fucking protesting, it's gonna do nothing but stoke the flames of that dude's popularity. Yeah, he's well, and yeah, I really miss when he was on E late at night. That's when I was a kiddo, and just, I don't know, being able to have him on fucking basic cable was cool. Late at night, low censors, it's cool shit. Some of my favorite shit. Is it exploitative? Yeah, but again, that's where I think it's kind of performance art at that point. All reporting is, all news, all media is exploiting something in some way, whether it be resources or someone else's story or your story or, a social construct that you're exploiting to hoist your message up. Like, that's just all fucking transformative media is that way. And so like, I always try to look past it. Like, that's normally the biggest complaint at Howard is like, he's fucking just amoral and he exploits people, and it's like, well, he's fucking on talk radio. Like, are you mad at him or talk radio, and why are you still listening if it's exploitation?
Seriously.
But I'm also a big fan of the channel Soft White Underbelly. There's a YouTube channel called Soft White Underbelly. It's ran by a photographer. Ooh, who are we talking about? We're kind of back to Brian Laundrie, True Crime Wifey, to answer you in the YouTube chat. WFLA was live, so I went back to their footage, but we're just kind of rapping, man. Nothing in particular. Took a peaceful ass nap earlier, and we're going to just keep that swing shift rolling. I didn't even really have a plan or a topic. I was hoping I could catch Az, that we could convince her to channel someone spooky.
We were chatting about the TikTok guy who killed his wife and her friend.
That's right. Where did it go? Oh,
it's fairly new news.
Where did it go? It fucking bounced away. There's sometimes I just collect clips in my YouTube that's like, I wonder if Jonathan Frakes would personally copyright strike me.
Yeah, somehow we got on a tangent about Howard Stern.
Yeah, we did get on a tangent about Howard Stern. Well, exploitation too. You know, you can't escape being called that if you're doing anything that's a transformative media. And that's right, Soft White Underbelly. He will interview people that are like active junkies or people with mental illnesses or people with mental impairments. And people try to say it's exploitation, but he's like, dude, I'm a photographer. I'm giving them a portrait. I'm paying them. I'm not a monetized channel. You know. Ooh, what we got here? Don't you fucking strike me, Whoopi.
Whoopi.
Don't you strike me, Whoopi. The View I don't think is technically news. I think it's technically a copywritten program, but...
Oh, jeez.
Here we go.
Whoopi. Elon.
Oh yeah, the Pfizer vaccine for kids, guys, 5 to 11. That's what probably got y'all on I'm talking the vaccine today, huh?
Oh, my mother was telling me about this.
Yeah.
She's a nurse. She was like, blah, 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 blah. And I'm like, okay.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. It's up to y'all. Get vaccines for your kids or don't. I don't care.
Yeah, I'm not even going to put my 2 cents in on that one.
Yeah, I don't care. You do what you do. You know. If you don't, you don't. If you do, you do. I prefer you did what made you feel right.
I don't even want to touch that one. I'm sorry.
Exactly. It's one of those, like, I don't know. I really admire, like, you know, Zimmy and Chief were kind of getting into it earlier about it because I you know, it's one of those things I kind of just want to leave to the people. You know, it's y'all's decision. You're all, you know, if you're watching this stream, you're an adult. You better be. There's an age restriction on it. If not, you lying. And don't. Yeah.
Just kidding.
Statistically, 10% of y'all are over the age of 65. So, do what's best for you. I know a lot of people who are older that are like me and are immunocompromised and can't because they run the risk of symptoms coming back they've worked really hard to get rid of. And I'm gonna wait till that's not a potentiality for sure.
Should we have some limits on being inside unless everybody's vaccinated? Let's be careful about that. Another thing to think about is now these over-the-counter home tests are increasingly available. That's another thing families are considering doing. Before getting together for the holidays, maybe everybody get a test and make sure you're not the one who's carrying this virus without
ready to make some dinner.
But I think we're all
guys.
Right off, your crime wifey.
You guys know what I did this week to be prepared for lunch? I made a whole bunch of Zimmy pasta in advance.
Oh, I'm jealous.
Like a whole bunch.
I cannot cook for shit.
Oh, you say you can't cook for shit?
No, I don't know what it is. Like timing or I don't know.
I got your back. I got your back on this. I think I got your back. I got like some easy shit that's like makes Rachel Ray look like a fucking liar. Like Zimmy's shit is honestly like it's cheap as shit. So like all you need is pasta, olive oil, a clove of garlic, some tomatoes, and a pepper, and then whatever meat you want.
My kids are so picky, and so it's like I can't tell them if there's pepper, onion in it. Like because they won't eat it, and that's all the stuff I feel like makes it taste good.
Word. Exclude that pepper, right? Or do it in big enough chunks you can just kind of put it on one side. But I'm telling you, there's like jarred sauce. Fuck that shit. You just gotta grab some tomatoes and put that shit in a pan with some olive oil. Put it on like a medium heat. In less than 10 minutes, you're gonna have a tomato sauce. Like, just gotta kind of work it with a fork and even pull the peeling out. But
No, I leave my peeling in.
I do every time, and it kind of adds some color. But if you're dealing with kids, sometimes they can be picky. But let me try to write down some of these Zimmy recipes that have been changing my fucking life, because again, I've been not really cooking for a long time, and now I got no problem. Like, I've been kind of excited to like do some of this Italian shit. And it's been, I think, cheaper in the long run. What's my blinds clacking? Clack, clack, clack.
Also, if you haven't already, get an instant pot. For people, especially non-neurotypical people like myself, an instant pot is a world changer.
Ooh.
Oh, like a crock pot?
Sorry.
Yeah, crock pot or an instant pot can be a game changer. An air fryer.
Is that like set it and forget it type cooking?
Yeah.
Basically, yeah.
Air fryer.
I have a whole bunch of I'm gonna get copyright strike for that fucking Good Morning America ad. There's a whole bunch of fucking crock pot shit I know how to do. That's game changing, man. Pot of beans, pot roast, like 8 different styles of pot roast.
I often get distracted. I get distracted while I'm cooking a lot, so something that I can just throw everything in and forget about it, and it cooks on its own is wonderful.
Oh. See, True Crime Wifey says they puree everything. See, I've been kind of following this like straight Florentine way of fucking old school Italian cooking. Like, I'll prepare a clove of garlic by just peeling it and then palm striking that bitch, just crushing it, crushed garlic right into the olive oil, boom, sear that sucker, let that flavor and those aromatics expand. Then you add you put up with those tomatoes on top of it. I cut them into quarters, but I leave it all together. You know what I mean? And then it starts kind of doing this melt apart thing as the heat kind of starts breaking that tomato down. And next thing you know, you got fucking sauce. I'll put a little salt, pepper, oregano on the tomatoes as they're breaking down. Helps them break down too, the salt. And then flavors your sauce. There's some like really quick, easy shit I need to write down and try to like pull from Zimmy's shows to like my favorites of the favorites. 'Cause I got some photos of some pasta that I made in like 15 minutes that I swear I paid a lot of money for at a restaurant. Like the same shit.
I figured out why you gotta cook it for a while before you smash it.
Oh, why is that?
When you cook it, all the sugars in the tomato begin to caramelize, which thickens all of the juices. And so you don't end up with liquid in the pan at any point in time, whereas if you puree it beforehand, you end up with liquid in the pan.
That makes sense. You're actually boiling things off as opposed to it all rendering down from the fruit and whole. That makes sense. Hey, it
allows it to caramelize, whereas when it's liquid, it won't caramelize, really.
I believe in it, too. Like, there's something to doing it with, like, if you have, like, a Roma tomato, just, like, cut that bitch in half. Like, you know what I mean? Like, don't go any deeper than that. And, yeah, when you kind of put that to some heat, that the way it breaks down is, like, I feel lied to by Big Ragu. I feel fucking lied to. I'm never buying jarred sauce again. I'd rather grow fucking tomatoes and wait than buy jarred sauce again. It's just the fucking delicious. Oh, but to prepare for the week, I just made a whole bunch of Zimmy pasta and put it in the fridge. Like, a whole bunch. I think I made a mushroom arrabbiata, and then I did like just like a whole bunch of like a pasta Florentine. Just stashed it. But again, like, it took like less than an hour to like make lunch for the pasta for the fucking week.
I'm sure it was cost effective too.
I think it was, I feel like it maybe, it also helps you kind of visually put eyes on like, boom, my lunch dealt with for the week. Done. Done. Kind of gives you peace of mind. There's one that's like real light, like garlic and lemon. Oh, sorry. What was that?
Oh, you're good. One of the things I like about his sauces is you don't need to use very much sauce to cook the entire dish.
No, you really don't. Like,
the oil that you start with like spreads out because the oil captures all the flavor from the sauce and then spreads out more evenly.
Yeah, and always use olive oil. Always. That olive oil really does change shit. When you're doing like the Florentine and you add like the parsley and like the lemon zest, the acidity from the lemon zest hits that fucking olive oil in a way that, yeah, it becomes this like fucking sauce. Something to the acidity dancing with that olive oil that's like, I feel lied to. I'm like, I didn't know it was this easy. I bet even we're kind of making it sound like alchemy, but it's not. It's so easy.
Well, not to mention that all the canned stuff has so much sugar and salt in it.
That's true. There's all these added bullshits, all the things that preserve it or, yeah, make it more flavorful to the Western palate. You know, extra salts, extra sugars. You're right about that. There's also choose the best pasta that you can. Pasta's still not that expensive. Even when you go for like the nicer, like the higher shelf pasta, it's not bad.
I like the whole grain pasta.
Yeah. It's kind of made me functionally become a vegetarian. I haven't eaten meat really. Since I've started watching Zimmy's cooking. Like, I'll maybe like a couple times a week, it seems like lately, we'll go get a meat or something to do in a pasta or in a or I'll do something that I've cooked before with meat. I think I'm gonna do like a chicken curry tonight or something, but like I'm trying to do that curry katsu though. I'm trying to do it Japanese style where I fry like I'm not gonna do like a pork loin. I'm gonna do like a chicken fillet, fry it and do the curry sauce with chickpeas on top of it and a bed of rice. But shout out Debbie. She probably likes curry the way I do. I kind of like curry the way UK people like curry. I kind of like it to be mushy and if it's spicy, not too spicy. So
Botulism. True crime wifey said, "Be careful with fresh tomatoes. Botulism is real."
That's true.
Yeesh.
That's true. Lentil soup is good for vegetarians. Yeah, lentils. I like
love lentil soup.
Yeah. I like yeah. Jewish fed a lot of lentils. Some lentils, some fucking.
I also love wonton soup.
Oh. Just some like egg drop soup, y'all. Oh man. I used to my baby mom used to make egg drop soup all the time. It's fucking delicious. Get a little fresh ginger, shitload of eggs. Which are kind of cheap as shit where I'm from. I felt spoiled at a certain point this last winter. I was buying eggs for like, just fucking ridiculous. Like, I was buying like 1,000 eggs for like $3, it felt like. I was like, why are we getting so many eggs? Then chickens showed up last winter, so I ended up with eggs from the chickens. Not that I caught in time to do anything with.
Yeah, I didn't eat.
I don't know, there's something to this kind of like, I don't know, almost newfound vegetarian diet I've kind of built. It's not, I like it. I'm not doing meat all the time and my body feels a lot better. I also feel like I'm doing less dairy, which is always good. Dairy's just fucking Elmer's glue. You're just drinking Elmer's glue. Like, it's bad for your body. Bad for my body anyway. It slows me down and shit.
Some people's genes can handle it better than others.
They really can, you know. I'm yeah. I have a lot of stuff that expresses from like, yeah, like I find that if I follow more of like a ethnically appropriate diet, sometimes my body seems to really do a lot better. It's weird, but I mean, I'm sure there's something to that epigenetically, right?
Oh yeah.
I mean, there has to be.
Yeah. 2 of my kids can't even have dairy. Like they do, and they pay for it dearly, but they can't do it.
Do you ever catch them like secretly sneaking dairy products whenever you're not watching?
Yeah, ice cream and cheese are the big ones.
Yeah, my kiddo was allergic to like I believe it was dairy and beef products, just period. And it wasn't because it was like a lactose intolerance; it was just beef products and period in general. Which is weird because when I got my allergy test done as an adult, after he was born, I flared up really hard on beef, but then they did a blood test and I wasn't allergic to beef, and he grew out of this weird beef allergy. So I don't, it's fucking weird. It seems like if I don't fast at some point around Yom Kippur, like our fasting holidays too, I'll just naturally do it unintentionally. Like, have you eaten? Like, oh shit, no, I haven't. So I don't know, I think there's something to it. If you're from a, kind of like what Justin's saying, like, if you're of Nordic ancestry, right? These are the people that brought cheese to the Middle East, so you're probably good on cheese, baby. You probably eat cheese all day if you're like hella Viking. I'm just a little bit Viking, and that shit doesn't show up all the time. But you know.
Yeah, my ancestry said Norway, and what was the other one? Oh, I can't remember it. I told Arianthe earlier too, but I can't remember. Brain fart.
Hey, there's so yeah, at some point, if you were to do that, if you'd be like most of us in the Western world, and if you were to do the meditation of why am I doing this? Why am I here right now? If you follow history and time and every series of events through history back, really the main reason why we're here doing this right now, a lot of us in the Western world, a good percentage of us, is because they ran out of fish in the North Sea and the Vikings sacked Linda's farm. Like, going that far back, there's my favorite thought experiments to do. You know, why am I here? What brought me here? What series of events? You can kind of keep going back and back and back. You have multiple events happening at one time, but for a lot of people in the Western world, it goes back to those Vikings getting hungry, baby, and it getting just untenable. The lack of fish they had.
Go far enough back, that asshole that figured out you can make fire with stones.
Yeah, or the one blue-eyed dude in the Mediterranean. The first blue-eyed dude. That's what's weird to me is, you know, we know Nordic people as having bright blue eyes, right? But we know from genetic studies that we can trace, you know, primordially all people with blue eyes to a common ancestor, and it's like one Chad-ass dude in the Mediterranean.
Hey, John made a comment in there about a podcast where a guy was saying that, like, he got bit by a tick and it made him allergic to beef. Yeah. And now that he says that, my daughter that's most severely allergic to it did indeed have Lyme disease from the tick. So,
ooh,
interesting. I never really thought of that way, John.
I bet you that's where that came from. I have a peanut allergy child, very scary. She tested out, yep. Peanuts, Brazil, and cashew are very high EpiPen needed. Damn. See, I'm fortunate enough to not have a peanut allergy that makes me need an EpiPen. I am technically allergic to peanuts and wheat, but I don't ever need an EpiPen. Get that leaky gut sometimes.
I ever wonder why, like, when we were kids, there really wasn't a lot of, like, allergy talk, and, like, now it's, like, very prevalent. Do you think we just had it and nobody knew, or do you think it's like because of what's in the foods and stuff now?
Mix of both. I think just advancement in science and information and spread of information. We have more information every second quantified than we did in the previous second.
To add to that, one thing to consider, for instance, soy is in the top 5 allergens, and it's in almost everything.
Yeah. We put soy in things that metabolize as estrogen, like BPA. is what's in that. Like, you have soy in a BPA container in a lot of cases, and it's like, what? This turns into estrogen in men if they drink enough of it, or if it sits in that bottle long enough.
John's in the house.
Yeah, so there's definitely
soy milk makes my throat straight up swell up.
I only have time for a quick comment. Lucky for you. Anyway,
what you got, baby?
I was reminded, listening to you, I just joined up with you. I had to make some dinner, and you were talking about the blue eyes thing and the genetics and all that. I've got to remind you, and I can't quote it on here because it's kind of, insulting to some people, but the line from True Romance when Dennis Hopper is explaining to Christopher Walken what a Sicilian is.
Yep.
And he's tied to a chair. And he knows he's going to die, so he figures, fuck it, So he takes the cigarette that Chris Walken, offers him, and he gets hit in the nose, and he goes, "You feel that sting? That's as good as it's going to get, and it's never going to get any better than that." And so he goes, "You come from the Moors. And the Moors did all kinds of fucking. And that's why you ended up, having the black hair and the olive skin." And he goes, "That makes you part eggplant." Oh my God, man! That you had to see it yourself. Me reciting it, but oh my God, And so of course, and then I think his answer to that was, "And that makes me the messenger of death." And then he shoots him right in the head. But just that explanation, I never had to ask another quick question about genetics and everything. All right, I'm gone. Don't worry.
Hey, no worries, my man. Hey, I love you, John. A pleasure as always, baby.
In and out, like a wrecking ball.
In and out, baby. It does affect dairy, Erica. Actually, that's kind of what my son. Well, it wasn't from a tick bite though, but that's what they were kind of saying, was like, if you have a beef allergy, it can affect dairy. Particularly depending on how close you live to the manufacturing of said, like the processing of said dairy.
I'm in the suburbs, so I'm definitely not near that.
Gotcha. Yeah, where I was living, it's like we live pretty close to like most of the farming. Like my father worked on a dairy farm. Still works on a dairy farm, I think. But yeah, it can like my son get that milk hit, he might blow some blood out of his butt. Dude, he might poop blood. It got bad.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. Like, they were having issues. Like, they will still torture themselves and do it because they want to taste it, but they pay for it dearly.
Yeah, and it depends on what I've had. It's genuinely a coin flip with me when I eat beef on if I get sick or not. Is what's weird. Like, if I get beef from Walmart for some reason that has like the meat glue and the fucking dye in it, I get sick if I don't wash it first.
Well, I have to redeem myself for that last comment. So
You're fine, brother.
The guy I was listening to on a podcast was talking to another guy. The guy's name is Jimmy Dore, kind of political activist guys. But they happen to have a conversation. The guy used to work for I can't remember. Oh, what's the news group? Bloomberg. Yeah. So he worked at Bloomberg, and he was talking about he liked to go on vacations a lot. And he was like some real rustic stuff. So he was in some jungle or something. Got this tick on him. They removed the tick because he was feeling like crap. They found the tick, removed it from him, and then after that, he could not eat beef anymore, or he could become deathly ill. And he said that he forgot all about it, and then he had a steak with a friend of his, and that ended up causing him to have to go to the emergency room, and he can't touch any form of beef after that. Weirdest thing I've ever heard.
Weird.
Yeah. So and from a tick, and I had one tick on my ear one time when I was a little kid, and my first reaction, I saw it in the mirror. I called my mom in. She goes, "Oh, it's a tick. We'll get it off." I just threw up everywhere. I just was so rattled by this. I couldn't stand this idea of having this parasite on me, But we took it off and everything was cool, But I had another friend who almost died himself because of having a tick on him. and it caused him some kind of sickness. I forget the name of it, like spotted fever or something it's called.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. That shit's scary as shit.
Yeah, he was touch and go for a while, they said. You know, he was driving down the street and he suddenly forgot how to drive and could barely see. And they took him to the hospital. He had to pull over. They took him to the hospital, and it took him 3 weeks to figure out it was a fucking tick. You know? Yeah. True story.
I was hella aggravated. So my daughter had a tick on her. I took it off. I put it in the freezer. Like, I heard that somewhere. I don't know where, but, like, save it. I called their pediatrician, and they were like, oh, well, is there a bullseye around it? And I said, no. And they said, all right, she'll be fine. So fast forward 6 months later, and she's waking up in the middle of the night with knee pains and screaming and can't put weight on her leg. So I call back the pediatrician, and they're like, oh, it's growing pains. Long story short, I said, do I have to bring her to the ER and tell them why I'm wasting their time? Or will you see her and check her for Lyme? And they're like, oh, mother, like, it's not Lyme. It came back off the charts. She was on, like, antibiotics for 3 or 4 months. That's how bad it was. I could have killed someone.
Oh, no doubt, man. That's awful. Man, you know, that's right. That goes right up there for me with cancer. I mean, really, just these things that just blow my mind at how quickly and how devastating these things can be. You know,
Yeah. Like, I'm telling you, I know my child. Something is not right. Why not just humor me then? Who cares if I'm wrong and I'm being crazy and overprotective? Just do the test real quick and call it a day. You know, it's not like I didn't have insurance or like everything would have been paid for, but they wouldn't take me seriously. It was really sad for her.
Yeah, I imagine. God damn. You know, I don't want to leave on a downer. I gotta mention this. My father-in-law, successful banker, lived in Westport, Connecticut, around the corner from Martha Stewart, you know, that kind of thing. And, you know, very much into money. Every time I get a job somewhere like a grocery store, he'd say, well, you can always shoot for manager. And sometimes you just don't have that kind of ambition. But anyway, I digress. So he had an accountant, and the accountant fucked him over. And, you know, ended up making him have to owe the IRS a considerable amount of money. And he dealt with this stuff for a few years, finally got it all broken down and worked it out with the IRS. So he was like, you know, shitting through silk then. He was like, he was happy. You know, he got this off his shoulders. Well, no sooner than he gets that taken care of, him and his wife are planning on going on a trip, maybe to Europe or somewhere. And he gets diagnosed with a little cancer cell on his like kidney. And his cousin had the same exact thing. They took it off. Guy's still alive today. The father, unfortunately, it just ended up moving around. They call it metastasized. And next thing you know, it was in his brain. And he eventually passed away from it. And I mean, it just hits me that, you know, you get things finally worked out, you know? And it'd be like if I became sober and I'm fine and everything's good and then a safe falls on me. You know?
Yeah, yep.
But, you know, on that happy note, I'm just thinking about that. You know, it's funny how I listen to something you guys are saying, and that'll spark me to remember something else. Whether or not it's interesting or not, that's not important.
Hey,
you're inspiring,
John. Oh, well, thank you. That's man. I just recently got you. Sorry, I just took kind of a big hit. My lungs are exploding.
I'll take one for me.
Finally got some nicotine. Again, I'm trying to cut down on everything, get my health a little better. You know what I mean?
Oh, I thought you were my weight. Okay.
And so
take a hit of that.
I finally broke down. I had like a bad disease nap earlier, and then oh shit, cat. And this cat's been so weird lately. She's been like obsessively up my ass, like to the point I've kind of lost my mind about it.
Well, what is the if I can pry a little bit, what's the immune thing that you have a problem with, dude? If I can ask.
Oh, it's a weird advanced form of Alpous disease. It's that's kind of what you would call it if I was to go to a dermatologist. They don't particularly have a name for it other places. It's just a
okay,
an autoimmune disease, but it's I've been in like set up for test trials and stuff like that. Have doctors kind of fuck me around. I've had a bunch of different treatments for it. I've tried a bunch of different stuff. So like, I've genuinely spent years kind of exploring like the best place But
So where are you at?
What was that?
Where are you at with it right now?
I'm at the point where I am just communicating with my primary care physician and just logging my flare-ups and what it's like to have them, and particularly now that I live in a new place, because my primary care physician where I was living was like, you probably should move out of the Ozarks. It was destructive on my health, as just the environment was. The dramatic temperature changes, things like that. Like, I thought I had arthritis, which was devastating to me as a musician. Like, I was having mornings where, and I still have mornings where I kind of, well, now I wake up and hit Az's pain cream on those hands pretty quick, but there's mornings where I have joint inflammation, and I thought for sure that they blood tested me. They did everything they can test for, like, rheumatoid arthritis and stuff like that. No arthritis, just a weird high white blood cell count, like I'm constantly fighting an infection.
Wow.
At one point, when my baby mama said like enough was enough and took me to the hospital, was I had what looked like MRSA on my leg, and it turned out to be nothing. But dude, I'm telling you, it looked and felt like I had MRSA. I had fucking staph, really, 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 really bad. And so that's kind of what it's like. Is like I just basically, if I say something like I have like a stage 2 flare, what I mean is somewhere on my body, probably somewhere I don't want to, somewhere hella private, feels like it has staph.
Wow.
Sometimes it's my armpit or my groin or anywhere where skin touches skin.
Well, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Oh no. That was really it. It gets just.
I found myself one of my annual, back in the 80s, one of my annual visits to jail for shoplifting. I found myself in a situation where it was overcrowded at that particular time, and it was just wall to wall little mats they give you on the floor, and that's the only place you could find to roll out your mat. And I probably was like 15 feet from the toilet. Okay, a toilet that's used by everybody. Okay, and after that was over, a couple years later, I started getting these like big knots on my forehead. Okay, just really, it was like a third eye, man. These things were, little ping pong ball sized deals. And we lived in Connecticut by then, and I went to the doctor, and they had to stab them and drain them and do all this stuff and pack them, and I ended up like having 2 sometimes. And they explained to me that I had some sort of staph infection. And that's the only place I could figure where that might have come from, because a couple of other guys got the same type of thing while they were still in the jail. I was only there for like a month, And yeah, it's nasty, man. And when I learned about how staph infections come about, it's pretty disgusting,
Yeah. And there's been times when I was younger where I would have what I know now are flare-ups, but would go get checked out for staph, and they would say, no, you don't have staph. And it's like when I was younger and I was in like Cook-Solwan, I was like, hey, I grappled and I was on the mat, like I think some fucker had staph and I got staph, like in Cook-Solwan, and I didn't. Like it can get fucking, that shit's, it's gross and weird, and the people who have similar diseases to what I have a lot of issues with like shame, like they think they should be ashamed of it, or they're scared to talk about it. And I think it's like 99% of the people who get diagnosed with something similar to what I have, they don't get diagnosed until they're in adulthood because they grew up kind of ashamed of the situation.
Sure, understandable.
Yeah,
I watched some videos about old shopping malls and things. It's kind of like, they call them urban explorers. These guys go in there. They don't go to vandalize. They actually go to make films.
And
they also have a and when you're old like me, you go, oh, I remember those times. So they also have a set of videos on their YouTube channel where they go to hotels. I mean, hotels that are currently, and motels that are currently running, but they're like those little cheap Motel 6s and stuff. And when they get in the room, the first thing they do is like practically break it down, get the mattresses out of there. And sometimes they come across stuff like, people had a hypodermic stashed with drug already in it, ready to go. And, then at one point they found what definitely looked like to them blood. Okay. And they film these things, right? Yeah. And they they tore another one apart. But one of the worst things is what I hear is those bed bugs. Never had that situation, man. I don't think I want that.
Let me tell you, boy, I've worked multiple locations where there have been bed bugs detected, and we have had to spring into action. I've been a night auditor at a hotel. I've been a maintenance man at a hotel. I've been a maintenance man at a fucking apartment complex. Each of those situations and those means of employment, I have encountered the goddamn dreaded bed bugs. Dude, they are fucking ridiculous to deal with. Now,
practically impossible to get rid of, right?
Well, it's not so bad anymore. When they first popped off, it was really bad. So in the first year of there being like a spike in them, yes. But now that they've been introduced to our biome so prevalently, they've, I guess, you have to heat a room to like 100-something degrees, and they die. So,
wow.
So you don't even have to, like, used to that you'd have to clear out a hotel and fucking close shit down. Now you don't even have to clear out the floor of that hotel. You literally, the exterminator comes in, he tarps off the door, and then they put up industrial heaters in the room, and they heat the room fucking hella hot, and it kills them all.
They don't get a chance to sneak into the other rooms after that?
Nuh-uh. Not, well, I guess that much heat fucking murders them.
Oh, I see. Okay, yeah.
Like immediately, like it fucking fries them.
They throw a tent over the whole house. It's crazy, you know? And I have to say, you know, usually these communities like I live in are known for that sort of thing. Everything's been pretty cool around here. I mean, there hasn't been anything like that. Now, what we do have that I had never really encountered before was not your regular cockroaches that, you know, mean you're nasty and they climb in your trash and those little almond shaped guys.
Yeah.
I've had those off and on in different places I've lived all my life. But what we have here looks like some kind of bug from a fucking movie, man. These things are roaches. Like the size of my fist, right?
Oh,
but what they like to do, I usually come out here on the porch to talk to you guys, and you have to smoke outside. So I'll be sitting out here, and at nighttime, after dark, they are running around this porch, just you know, hey, how you doing? All right, you know, and they keep going, and I'm just like, geez, that thing's huge, man. You know, and it's like, it really is. Some of them are like the size of your two thumbs together with legs.
Crazy. See, I've had experience with big ones like that, kind of medium-sized ones, and then I've seen like smaller ones that the exterminator used to call Oriental cockroaches, and he says they come from the east. You know.
Yeah. And the German ones are pretty common around the United States. You know, those ones with long antennae. But, you know, then the extra wrinkle was, so I'm out here, you know, and all you have to do is stomp your foot, and that makes them disperse because they feel that, right? But then when I found out, I didn't know, I'm out here looking at the phone, maybe talking to somebody like yourself, and there's one going up the wall behind me. So I scoot real fast, and this fucker flies. They fly.
Yeah.
I didn't know they could fucking fly.
Yeah.
So you got flying roaches that look like they're mutated. I've never seen anything like it, but I hear it's big here in Carolina, man. I don't know.
Yeah,
you
palmetto bugs. Yeah, I think maybe. Yeah, I've definitely had to deal with fucking palmetto bugs are wild. Cicadas are really popular where I'm from. Like they're really common.
Yeah, but I mean, these things are freaky, man. It really looks like that movie Bug from the '70s. It's awful, you know. But it's a different place you go. Like I think I mentioned a long time ago to you guys. We lived in Florida, and what I understood they had done there years previously, like maybe 20, 30, 40 years, they tried to genetically create a bug that could destroy all the mosquitoes because it's such a bad scene there with mosquitoes every summer. So what they did was, not even summer, I mean, it's most of the time. So what they did was they produced this bug, like a super soldier, and they were harmless to us, but they would kill mosquitoes. Everybody says, oh, great, wonderful, you know? So they released them all over Florida, and instead of going after the mosquitoes, they might have, but what they mostly did was fly around fucking each other. Okay?
Yeah.
And they call them love bugs. And if you drive the Alligator Alley from like Naples down to Miami, by the time you get where you're going, your windshield looks like it had rain on it of all these dead bugs that fly right into you. And they're constantly flying around in the middle of mating. Okay, and that's all they do. So they call them love bugs, and they've never really helped the situation with the mosquitoes. But there they are, you know, just like we have leopards down there, and the leopards were because a train car crash, and it's not an urban myth. The train car crash, like in the 50s, released a bunch of leopards or panthers, and they ended up taking over down there in the swamp area. And so, you know, they're down there near Brian Laundrie. Yeah, I mean, and that's why they're there, is because they weren't originally from there. That blew my mind, man. You know, and these bugs are amazing, you know? So yeah, the technology's out there.
Yeah. I wonder and worry all the time what we're going to do if we continue to have like a bee pollination crisis. I watched the other day one of the Peter Capaldi episodes of Doctor Who, where there's robot bees, basically, that like pollinate plants and stuff on a foreign planet, right? Like humans have colonized another planet, a drop ship drops down and it kind of prepares the area. But anyway, these bees end up eating the fucking people. And anyway, I think a lot about like what can we do to deal with that, and what can we do when you have things like, what if you need to vaccinate a population of fucking insects? What do you spray aerosol things into the sky and hit their migration patterns so that malaria doesn't spread as hard, or what do you do?
I haven't a clue, but I do have a question for you that you just inspired. It's another thought of mine. What do you call the science fiction trope? It's used a lot. It's formula by now, but the only example I can think of at the top of my head, if you ever saw Jason X, where he's in outer space.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Well, it's corny, but the technology that I've seen used in a lot of films, but this is the best one to explain, is like, you know, your arm gets hacked off, and these things like bugs, I forget what you call them. They use them in a lot of sci-fi movies, and even Mystery Science Theater had them, and they were supposed to be looking in a microscope, and they would actually have a hard hat on.
Nanite.
What do you call them?
Nanites.
Yes, thank you. Okay.
Nanites.
Yeah, I was just trying to think of that. You know, that technology blows my mind too. I mean, that if we actually, I don't know if we already have that or if it's something that's coming soon.
We've gotten pretty small.
Yeah, but it seems like the advantages to that sort of technology, you know, like they showed in that movie. I mean, people are getting arms reformed by, you know, nanobite technology, you know, and I just wondered if that was anything about that was real. I don't know.
I mean, well, it's definitely something that, look, I mean, as you know, because of our shared Star Trek, you know, love, that a lot of the time, even if it starts off as science fiction, it does become reality because it inspired somebody. And I think that, you know, we definitely have people in the realm of like nanomechanics. That is an actual field. There are people out there building incredibly smaller and smaller things out of more impressively complex little tiny structures. And I think that, yeah, we'll probably get down to molecular and potentially even subatomic fucking things that we can create. Now, at that point, you're functionally bonding, if you're talking about molecular, right, you're functionally bonding proteins, anything bigger, so like to build a stable structure. So there's certain things where I know we're already there in ways, but like what you're talking about, like, oh, there's a really good Tony Stark run in Marvel Comics where he's, you know, they kind of use the extremist shit in the MCU where he's got like a suit made of nanites.
Oh, that would help him to get it on and off faster, I would imagine.
like in game he presses the button and it just fucking whoosh, comes out of the fucking arc reactor in his chest, right? And that kind of thing, I think that we're gonna know more and more about that the more time goes on, and I think the more literature and fiction made about that, the more we're going to be inspired to check it out. That shit does kind of scare me though, because I don't want to be infinite.
Well, nothing beats the technology, the supposed technology of I think it's the first Avengers movie, when Stark comes walking back in off the patio landed as Iron Man, and as he's walking inside, the machine is actually pulling off his costume for him.
Like
I just thought
yeah,
was
like a Ford fucking conveyor belt, like a robot belt. Like, yeah, that shit's so cool.
He's totally normal. But speaking of futuristic medicine, it blew my mind back in 2004. I think my son was about 8 or 9, and he'd fallen down in school on an outside step. We had to come get him, take him to the doctors, and he'd busted his head open, forehead, right? And I had seen on Star Trek, when you have some kind of, a bullet hole, even, I guess, they just pull out the aerosol bottle and go, shh, and you're fine, right? And it closes it up. Well, I couldn't believe when these cats, instead of giving him a couple of sutures, they pulled out super glue. Okay, held the wound together, dropped some super glue. I don't know if it's the same as the super glue I would use on a model, but apparently, and they held the skin together, dropped the super glue in there, and everything was fine. Now we went on about our business, and we went to see that Monsters Inc. movie, and he's ADHD anyway, so he's running up and down the ramp and stuff. He falls down and busts his ass again, reopens the super glued hole, blood's going everywhere, and the people at the movies thought he had just done it there. So they're offering all of us free tickets and giving me posters. They're going, "Oh, sorry." And I had hardly had the heart to tell him, no, he already had this. I just wanted to watch him scramble. But yeah, man, it's amazing. Super glue to seal a hole. I mean, it probably wouldn't have worked on Kennedy's shot in the head, but
check this out. I do have a story about this. And it was probably made to fucking work on wounds. I believe she's right. It was used for like butterfly stitching. And welcome back. Hey, you're not late. I'm late. I meant to be there immediately after and collapsed into a fucking autoimmune flare-up nap. But we're back. But if I have had to close. Okay, look, I've been a bass player mostly, right? And I've played bass to the point my thumb has split open. I've got a little scar here. You play bass till your thumb splits open sometimes. Just how it goes. And it's happened to Flea from the Red Hot Chili Peppers, and this is where I got this trick from. Flea, notoriously at a big performance, busted his thumb open, super glued it back together, kept playing. I started doing that.
Wow.
It's like if my fingers bust open, I might just super glue that bitch together and just get going again. Like I've done it in kitchens, I've done it during gigs. I think probably Justin's seen me do it, like during a practice. Like sometimes my shit's busted up and you got to throw that super glue on it. I do that a lot. Super glue was made for wounds, and ketamine was developed as battlefield anesthetics as special guest.
Oh wow. Well, if you want to hear weird, my uncle and I, we got high together, and he wrote comedy for Letterman and stuff. So he wasn't a stupid guy, and he wasn't a superstitious guy, but he swore, and I seen him do it. He swore by taking some WD-40 when he'd have arthritis type pain in his joints in his hand, and he would squirt a little on his knuckles or something wherever it's hurting, rub it in, and he said he could actually feel a difference. Somehow he was oiling his joints. He claims he was oiling his joints using a little dab of real WD-40. And I'm like, well, I mean, I guess that's what it's for anyway. But I mean, is it really enough soaking in your skin to really help you? I guess it is. He said it was. And that blew my mind, and he swore by that all the time, home remedies, right?
Yeah. Lived by them. Honestly, like for a long time. Well, except the kidney ones, only because I've tried every home kidney remedy, because I had kidney stones through my youth. I think my first kidney stone was like 17. During a band rehearsal, I think it's the only time I've like dropped my instrument in like that level of anguish. But I've had a bunch of bunk ass home remedies because I have a very specific type of kidney stone. So when I say bunk, it's like it might work for you or for traditional kidney stones, but me drinking a bunch of cranberry juice or lemon water doesn't do shit. It actually makes shit worse. Well,
wow.
The lemon water is not bad, but that has nothing to do with the stones. It just your body likes to pee lemon water.
Last thing, and I promise you. Yeah. Did you happen to catch the story last week about? And I wish to God I could remember which guy, but let's just say like guy who's with Motley Crue or something, right? One of those type dudes. Okay, this guy was out in a concert shredding a fucking guitar, right? He's up there doing Van Halen type stuff, you know, and he's jamming, right? He finished his piece, okay? He finished the solo, and one of his best performances of that solo. Meanwhile, he went on to explain, 2 weeks later, after he got out of the hospital, that while he was performing that solo, he felt his aorta rupture, okay? And they said this is something that would kill most people, okay, and has before. And for some reason,
that's right. Special guest, who was that? Sorry, you holler at the chat. Special guest in the chat, and he told me about that story. But yeah, keep going. Sorry to interrupt you. Yeah, no, his aorta burst. He kept playing left and was like, "Bitch, I think there's something wrong." And they're like, "Bitch, your aorta? How? The 1 in a billion."
Yeah, and there's actually footage on YouTube of the actual performance. And I mean, you don't see a thing wrong with this guy. And he stands there and finishes the solo, like Stairway to Heaven or something. He finishes his solo, and you're just like, oh my God, when you know that that's what had happened to him. And he was basically a dead man standing right there. And they got him treatment, and he was fine afterwards. But I mean, my God, to continue playing through that, and on top of that, to do what they consider one of your best solo performances, that's crazy. I guess he figured if it was his last one, he better make it count, But anyway, that's all.
Hey, for sure. To address True Crime Wifey in the YouTube chat, you have to have 100% cranberry extract, not ocean spray. I did do 100% cranberry extract, and again, I appreciate your concern, but what I have are oxalate stones. So cranberries are high in oxalate, particularly cranberry extract, and what I was doing was building stones. The only thing that works to break up my stones, as I've found out through science, is a high amount of citrate. Enough citrate that it could honestly peel a fucking stomach. So I have to
That's what they told me.
Yeah, I have to take citrate supplements because there's no citrate production in my kidneys. My kidneys just don't make citrate. So things like cranberries, while they help the other types of stones that come from people who drink like too much sweet tea and shit, that's not what I got going on. But again, I appreciate the concern. I've had a lot of really cool people give me some really cool, like, it's another thing. Like, I would never hate the people who turned me on to some home remedies that turned out to be, because of my specific body chemistry. I always appreciate the people who come at me with home remedies. Like, that stuff's, I always appreciate that endlessly. I never hate the person. So, because I've tried a lot of them. So there's times where people send stuff to me, and it's like, if I don't respond, it's just because I probably tried it. And
well, I was an auto detailer in Florida, and at the dealership they had a soda fountain like you'd have at a McDonald's or something, right? And we could get all we wanted. And I had this cup that actually held 2 liters. So I would be going through 2 liters like twice a day because it was hot as shit. But I was just drinking Pepsi or Coke, okay? And I immediately got the stones, right, from that. And I went to the doctor. Just one day I was doubled over in pain. And I went and saw her, and she told me they detected blood in my urine. And they figured out real quick that that's what it was. So I had to break them up with the use of medication. But even using the medication, it felt like I was trying to pee pieces of broken glass. It was just the most painful thing I could ever imagine, man. And after that, I cut down my soda usage immensely.
Yeah.
What I like to do now is take grape juice, 100% grape juice, and mix it with a little bit of Sprite or 7-Up, right?
That's the shit. I've done that too, brother.
Well, I used to do it with vodka. I used to do it with vodka or gin, but without any of that, it's still pretty damn good.
It's really good. It's really good. Yeah, no, same with gin. I do the same. Well, I'll be honest. Yeah, it's got a little bit of Sprite, some Sunny D, and some gin, boy. Have you a fucking sleazy, easy fucking mimosa? I've been there. I do prefer it without now, though. I will say, like, it's the hydrating things. Like, grape juice is actually, I've had a nephrologist and a urologist tell me this in the same day, that I need to be drinking like endless fucking grape juice because of my hydration issues. Because they were like, look, what are you drinking besides water? And I was like, lemonade, Gatorade, if it ends with aid, probably, for the electrolytes and the sugars and shit. And they're like, no, grape juice. And I'm like, grape juice? Like some Welch's? And they're like, bitch, just get 100% grape juice. And
Well, see,
drink it.
my cardiologist doesn't want me to have too much moisture, extra moisture on the heart area. So in order to keep that down, okay, I'm not supposed to build up too much fluid, they say, around the heart. So what they gave me was like these water pills. They call them spirulactone, some other thing, fluoramide, yeah. And all those do is you pop one in the morning, and by 11 o'clock, man, you've been pissing every 5 minutes. Okay, you got to go and pee, and it just doesn't stop, right? And then finally, around 1 or 2 in the afternoon, it finally trails off. And they don't want you to do it before bed though, because you'll piss your bed. But I was taking those. But the other side of that is I constantly have like cotton mouth, like I've been smoking a bunch of weed. I constantly am feeling dehydrated. So now they tell me I have to keep hydrating myself, and they always are suggesting water, but of course they wouldn't suggest soda. So I'm fine with that, because it actually has been tasting too sweet to me lately. But this grape juice mixture I'm talking about, oh, it's fantastic, man. You know, it's just the right amount of flavor, and it's apparently better for you than all the soda, So that's what I've been up to. But I will catch you cats later on, okay?
Hey, you have a good one, man.
You too.
Hey, for sure. It always warms my heart when you guys, when I open up a little bit about my health and you guys ask me to expound. It's something I'm still sometimes weird talking about, but I don't mind it. Really bad health a lot of my life. I feel for your daughter, True Crime Wifey. The crystals in the kidneys are bad. She got a transplant. Man, kidney ailments are horrific. I thought at one point I might have kidney disease or something. I was passing a stone twice a week for like 6 months for a period of time.
Believe it or not, I have kidney issues as well, since we're on the topic. And eventually I'll need dialysis. My blood pressure is extremely high. They haven't actually diagnosed it, but like they showed me the x-rays of my kidneys and they have holes in them like Swiss cheese. Yeah. And I leak protein, which they call proteinuria. So I have to have like a high protein diet because I'm just exhausted all the time. And they put me on like blood pressure medication to make sure my kidneys don't work like overtime. But like I've had hella problems, so I can empathize with everyone about the kidney stuff. It sucks. And yeah, I don't know. I figured while we're getting to know you.
Yeah. Hey, I fucking feel for you. That's fucking horrible to kind of know that you have that around the corner too. I've been told a lot of different stuff. Like there's times where I've had some quack ass doctors in my opinions in the past, and I consider myself a little past my expiration date sometimes.
Luckily, I'm in Boston, so I have Tufts, and they're like one of the best nephrology around. So I'm super grateful for this.
Yeah, you're right by all the good shit, honestly. In Boston, they were having to send my Humira out of Boston and then through like somewhere in Illinois and then to me. Like I was having to get it through 2 different CVSs who were getting it through the fucking mail and then to like a Walgreens that would mail it to my door. Like it was so weird. Like just fucking FedEx it from Boston or just surely there's closer Humira. But they're like, no, we don't give a shit.
Yeah, about as much as I sometimes complain about Boston and the expenses and its people-y and the taxes, I am very, very grateful for the medical system here. Like people fly from all over to come see our specialists.
Yeah. Hey, I've always had a pretty good time in Boston. Yeah, sometimes the people can be abrasive, but that's just the East Coast. Like I never hold it against East Coast people to be a little bit culturally different than like the soft South where I'm from, where it's all hugs and open doors. You know what I'm saying? Like it bred one of the best comedy scenes in the nation, in my opinion. Boston will always have one of the best comedy scenes in the nation. It's got some of the funniest people.
Oh, Chandra. Is it Chandra?
Yeah.
She said same. I'm not sure. Is she talking about her kidneys, maybe? Or
oh no, yeah, kidney doctors and heart doctors are notorious enemies. Yeah, they can fucking fight. I've definitely had doctors really disagree with each other and be like, nah, this what's wrong with this motherfucker. And it's like, I don't really care which one of you's right. Fucking build a treatment plan and fucking give it to me. Give me my options. And yeah, that shit can be nerve-wracking, endlessly nerve-wracking.
You know, it is what it is, and I just have to try to eat healthy, which I'm not always good at, and ease up on the caffeine, which I'm also not very good at. But you know, it's work in progress. I mean,
damn straight.
They didn't even know I had it until I was pregnant, and they thought I had the hypertension there, like the high blood pressure. And then they were like, "Oh no!" And they thought I had something. They were going to put me on bed rest, and then they found it. So.
Holy shit, you discovered all of this during fucking pregnancy.
So they think that, like, so I was adopted, and they think, like, while I was in the foster home, maybe I had a UTI that turned into a kidney disease that, like, maybe they just didn't notice, and that's what it's from, but they can't be 100% sure.
Yeah. Definitely. Fuck. That's, damn. Well, to turn things to a positive while I'm kind of toward the end of the program, it's getting close to 4 o'clock my time, so I'll have to roll out here in just a bit. But people from Boston, you've kind of become my de facto co-host lately, and I'm fucking endlessly grateful. Like I said, I consider Boston one of the funniest places on planet Earth. Like, and that sense of humor is in you, even when you're talking about your tribulations. It's fucking inspiring. I like having you around.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thanks for accepting me and, you know, building a community where everyone can learn and grow and talk, and it's just like a safe space, you know?
Well, for sure. I'm Genghis Khan, haven't you heard? I'm evil. I'm evil. I'm a cult leader. No, wait, hold on. I was in the NFL and I've served hard time in prison. That's my favorite rumors that showed up in the chats in the past.
Oh.
Yeah. Which is like, what the fuck are you talking about? Huh?
People are fun.
But you know, Boston's one of those places that's like, I've heard the same thing, kind of the sentiment you gave, where it's like, hey, it gets shit for the people, but it's like, hey, we got to remember that's some of the funniest people on planet Earth. Joe Rogan and Bill Burr came out of that scene. I think we had people like Kevin James, right, came out of that scene. Endlessly funny people come out of Boston all the time, and some of the new comedians.
We're like hella loyal. I think that's the most notable thing. We are hella loyal.
Yeah, well, when you're like an OG, like when you got OG colony pride.
Like, right? Like 13 colonies, New England. Yeah, hell yeah.
Like, fuck yeah. Like, yeah, like I would be too if I was a Bostonite. Like, probably. There's parts of me that are still tribalistic toward where I'm from in Arkansas. But there's times where I realize when I'm in other places that me being tribalistic toward Arkansas amounts to like me calling pigs out loud. And I'm like, I gotta stop. I gotta stop. This is why we have problems.
Yeah, but we're definitely like wherever I go. And like people are like, oh, you're from Boston. I'm like, how do you know that? They just pin it every time.
That, hey, when I'm on the East Coast, people are like, hey, you're Southern. I'm like, how do you even fucking know? I feel like my accent's not that thick unless I'm wound up about something.
Yeah, no, I didn't know.
That's man, young me though. I'm telling you, little me, I sounded like fucking Joe Exotic. Like, hey.
Oh my god. John said, don't forget your Wahlbergs. I actually used to play basketball with them, like right before they were New Kids on the Block.
No.
And my mom's best friend, Tony, lived next door to them in Braintree, where I was from. And I didn't know any better, and I played basketball. You know, kids go outside and play in the streets, like that's what we did. And yeah, and then they became famous, and I was like, oh, whatever. Like,
yeah, holy shit, they blew up. Fuck, that's crazy. My dad looked like when he was younger, looked like Marky Mark, and it fucking cracks me up endlessly when I see old younger photos of him.
Punk ass from Georgia. Oh my god, he was a punk ass.
I fucking bet. It seemed like they were both like kind of rowdy kids. I mean,
their mom was a sweetheart.
Oh, I bet though. I would imagine a Mama Wahlberg would be Because I mean, they both grew into what seemed to be pretty affectionate, sweet people. Yeah. Once they grew out of that shit heel phase.
And Hingham called Almanova because her name's Alma.
Oh.
And she passed away.
Oh.
Yeah, they were fine. I remember their first claim. They were like, Wahlburgers is going to have government cheese because we were raised on it and that shit is awesome. And everyone in Boston was like, yeah. What the hell? They're definitely funny.
Yeah. Oh, special guest says, I feel that I'm way too both protective and critical of Mississippi. Special guest is from a place where, if you could imagine, a Mississippi town, but instead of tumbleweeds when there's nothing going on, there's just girls pulling each other's hair and fighting. Like, he's just from a place that seemingly rains street fights. There's footage from his county in Mississippi from like last year where somebody just does a 360 with their phone and it's literally just street fights. It has one of the most magical, it's the county where one of the most magical Waffle House fights I've ever seen took place.
I need to see this.
Like, we'll oh man, I'll see if maybe Lux is down for a late night or something. We'll come through, or I'll do it tomorrow. We'll do it at some point. I'll spring this. I'll find the fight. I'll find the specific fight because I'll have to do some digging to find it. But it's got everything. It's got a pimp ass car that shows up out of nowhere magically. It's got a magical pimp that shows up out of nowhere magically. It's got Waffle House employees involved in the fights. It's got a lady pulling off a wig. It's got I'm pretty sure someone's baby mama mad about the situation. Just there. I think there's somebody holding a damn baby at one point. I don't remember. It gets fucking crazy. I swear by the end of it, there's like a whole new gang formed. This is all outside of a Waffle House. Like, you see the Waffle House in the back. You see the window. You see the special for the week.
Oh my god.
Yeah, it's fucking crazy. So special guest is from a place that's like a little wild. Hold on, I'll find it. Yeah, shoot it to me, special guest. I gotta hop off here though because it's 4:00, guys.
Same. Well, it was a pleasure.
It was a pleasure, Erica. Man, a pleasure as always. Again, I'm excited for you. I'm excited for tomorrow. I'm excited to have you and Anthony in here, and let's fucking explore some fucking ghosts.
Yes.
Hell,
I am so excited.
The fuck yeah, government cheese is better than no cheese, says Curly. Y'all talking about government cheese, boy?
Yeah, because of the Wahlburgers.
Oh,
their restaurant Wahlburgers. They only make their stuff with government cheese.
Oh,
and they were like all proud of it. It was just something that I noted about them. And then like Boston was like, hell yeah, a lot of people have food stamps and they were on the government cheese.
Well, that's their palate. There's times where like
nothing wrong with it. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying that was their kind of claim to our burgers.
Yeah. He's a dude. There's oh man, let me tell you right now. You give me a grilled cheese that's not like just some cheap ass white bread with some American cheese on it, and you made it at home. I'm gonna be like, what the fuck what the hell, Gordon Ramsay? I thought we were having a grilled cheese. Like, I do kind of want that government cheese, on a grilled cheese. But there's certain things that I grew up a latchkey kid, so there's certain things I'm like, well, yeah, I prefer a burger. Yeah, I kind of want American cheese on it, but I want which everybody knows American cheese is not really cheese. It's just hydrogenated oil and whey. Just kind of made into this, in my opinion, delicious, salty gooiness. And I'm a little I didn't know that about the Wahlburgers. I'm endeared to them now. I'm like, okay, I fuck with that.
Hey, it's not bad. The milkshakes. It's just it reminds me of like an old school diner. It's cafeteria style. You just kind of go up, grab your shit, sit down. It's nothing fancy, but it's good.
I like that. See, I like that about the sound of it. That's cool as shit. I sound like a cross between David Cross and Kermit. That is not true, special guest. Your voice is very robust, and we talked earlier about your skilled mic control. So I will combat your...
special guest. I hate my voice, too. That's why I refuse to listen to any of the streams, after the... I won't go back, because I was like, ew. I think we all hate our voice.
It probably took me a month of doing shows that I had to edit myself, that I was like, all right, Yeah, okay, the torture's over. Like, you get used to it. You get used to your own voice. You just have to grind it out and hear yourself back. It's, you know, when I started this channel, it was all videos I would kind of shoot in a corner and then edit. You know, do it like Jenna Marbles, take all the blank space, all the all the redundant words out.
Yeah, no, I like it rough.
Yeah, I kind of like doing live shit. Yeah, I dig it live. You know, but we're, you know, potentially anything can happen. It's a pain in the ass, but all in all, it's fucking worth it. Like, I prefer it this way for sure. But yeah, but when you do that shit, you kind of get used to your own voice. Like, because I'm not a vocal, like I do music all the time, but I'm an instrumentalist. I don't record my voice until this.
For sure. All right, I gotta go get mad Red Bull so I can stay up till midnight because I want to hang out with Lux. I missed her last night.
Oh, heck yes. And again, we've had kind of I think she's had kind of a crazy day at work, so I'm not sure we're doing a night shift. So if you don't feel like getting Red Bulled up, it's okay. We'll be here, and I'll be here in the morning, and Lux will be back.
Alrighty.
I'm gonna try to maybe convince her to do a Lux Plays a Little Nightmares tonight.
Ooh.
Yeah.
That game's cool. All right, well, have a good night. Go relax. Everybody decompress, and we'll talk tomorrow.
Damn straight. Talk to you guys tomorrow.
Bye.
Hey, later, Justin. It's a pleasure as always. Justin, one of those people where it's like, I'm gonna have a compound with a forge at some point. You're gonna come out and run your business out of it. I'm gonna have you on every show, damn it. I've already got you on every show. Boy, wouldn't that be fucking cool one day. But I love you, brother. I'll talk to you later, man. I'm gonna hop out of Discord.
Have a good day, man.
Yeah. Hey, and all you out there, thank you for sticking with me. Widget, John, thank you for calling in. I love hearing from you. You help me open up sometimes about my medical stuff, and it seems like you guys really do relate to that. I love some of the heart-to-hearts we have when that situation gets kind of opened up, because it is tough. I'm glad it's something we all kind of have a commonality in. Being stuck in these shite-ass mortal bodies. But that's not me doomsaying. Don't have me committed, bitches. I'm just kidding. Classic DJ. Cadence and pacing. Are you talking about me, special guest? I don't have a classic DJ voice, do I? It always shocks me when people are nice about my voice. I don't expect it. What I hear is completely different. You know, but I've heard the same thing from Matt Berry, who has arguably the best voice out there alive right now, taking in breath. So even you guys keep that in mind. Even Matt Berry doesn't like his own voice, and he's the voice of like the BBC now. Like, dude, you know. But I would love to do actual radio sometime. Ooh, I love talk radio. Is there a film called Talk Radio? Are you talking about the show with Joe Rogan and Andy Dick and Phil Hartman? Or is that's news radio? Talk radio. I'll have to check it out. I love it. I love this format is the thing too. It's something that ended up working out in the long run for the channel. Kind of an idea I couldn't get over, and glad it stuck. Oh, John does have a great voice, a great radio voice. Yes, John. Another one of the many reasons I say John's one of my favorite guests ever. One of the best Murkies to call in, baby. Perfect cadence, good timing. Experienced, John. You do have an experienced, well-timed voice. But all right, gang, let's turn the tunes up. Let's hop on out of here. Be sure to like, share, and subscribe.